And good evening or afternoon, everyone. We are back for some Mariners baseball. And man, just 24 hours ago, the Mariners fought off a 3-1 deficit to come back and win 4-1. And what a victory it was. Sorry, it was a 4-1 deficit, and they came back to win 5-1. And what an amazing comeback it was. And I wasn't there to watch it because hashtag don't quit your day job and at a softball game. But as for you, Steve, you watched it, but then you checked out, and then next thing you know,
yeah. I mean, listen, Marcus Stroman was basically dealing for 7 innings. He was basically able to do whatever he wanted. Mariners had only 2 hits through 7 innings, and it was looking pretty grim. And it was you take a chance, and you're just like, well, chalk this one up. And then it was funny. I started, as I was calling it a night, my ex-wife was like, what are you doing? Turn back on the game. They came back. And I was like, what? They came back in this thing against the Yankee bullpen? Sure enough. As I was turning it on, there was Andres Munoz closing that thing out.
Including the strikeout of Aaron Judge.
Yeah, he painted the outside corner with a 2-seamer at 101. I was like, oh boy. So I'll say this: that last night was a very good come from behind victory last night, and it was exactly what the doctor needed, especially after that Baltimore series, dropping 2 out of 3 to a very good Orioles team. And then especially how yesterday's game got started too, because Logan ran into some trouble in the first inning, gave up 2. Alex Verdugo essentially just punished him all game long. So to have that happen and then to be able to come back, it was absolutely phenomenal. So we'll see if the Mariners can get off to a quick start tonight. They go against Clark Schmidt, who throws the type of pitches that generally the Mariners feast off of. So we'll see if the Mariners can get busy early.
Yeah, and it will not be easy because you mentioned that Clark Schmidt is pitching. He is 5-1 with a 2.49 ERA, and I'm convinced that he will pitch very well today because I added him on my fantasy football team. I know that's not really a reason, but I added him, and that's the fantasy baseball strategy. Start any starter against the Mariners, and you'll at least get decent outings out of it. And going back to the Yankees bullpen, they are the second best bullpen in baseball, while the Mariners bullpen is starting to fall. They're at 3.47 ERA, and I think they're starting to get figured out. Brash and Santos's unavailabilities is not really helping this team either, because our mid-tier are supposed to be bottom tiers are now the mid tiers, and then we have our upper tiers right now are supposed to be the mid tiers. So if we get Santos back, then it will help just a bit.
Yeah, well, right now, the only pitchers you can really trust in the Mariner bullpen right now are Trent Thornton, Gabe Spire, Ryan Stanek, and Andres Munoz, and that's pretty much it. So in a close game situation, you're probably going to see those arms. Any type of big lead, you'll probably see Cody Bolton, Eduardo Pizarro, who the Mariners seem to love for some reason, and guys like Kirby Snead. It's not necessarily the back end as much as it is the middle relief, which is something that you really can't trust. But again, credit the Mariner offense for coming up large against a very good Yankee bullpen. That's quite impressive. That's what probably the most impressive about last night.
And before we get into the starting lineup for the Mariners, donate to Rooftop Sports. You can donate through that QR code on the screen, or you can do the YouTube Super Chats, and that would be the way to support the channel. If you don't like John Stanton, let me have the money. I'll take his money. I'll be very happy to do so. Now let's get into the starting lineup for the Seattle Mariners. Leading off is going to be J.P. Crawford. He's really got to get it going. Only batting 193. He's leading off. Then we got Julio Rodriguez. He's not been too bad. Luke Raley's really been picking it up. He's now batting 311. That's what happens when you give him more playing time. He will perform. But putting him at third, very interesting decision, but it's not like the Polanco's still out, so not I don't know. I bet. Let's try to put Julio at third. I would really like to see that happen. Batting cleanup is going to be Cal Raleigh, Dom Canzone, who either has the ugliest swing ever or he has the most beautiful swing ever. He will be batting. He's batting fifth in the order. Then it's Ty France, who hit the RBI single last night. Mitch Garver is on the DH. Josh Rojas, who is now fallen to 291. He's going to be in the eighth, and then Dylan Moore as the ninth, first, second baseman, since Polanco is still out. His ETA is expected tomorrow, they say, but I don't know. Saucedo's return is expected to be, they say, on the 23rd, but I don't know what to buy on that. So we'll find out. And this game is about to start real soon.
Yep. It's nice having JP back. I think this is his first start back. I think he came into yesterday's ball game, so it's nice to see JP back in the fold. That obviously moves Rojas down the order. I'm not a big fan of Luke really batting third, but the way that I look at it is I'm okay with the bottom half of the lineup. That seems about right. But again, Scott Service, seems very predictable with his lineup choices.
He is always predictable, and he just won't do the one thing we're asking him to do. Like, it's getting to the point where I'm like, come on, Scott, just one game. Just let Julio hit third like he has done before. Statistics back it up that he is a very effective player when he is batting third. But for someone that's analytics, I would think that he would have known that by now. Either he's ignoring it or he just doesn't care.
Being in the first or second spot in the order, you're going to get that extra at-bat per night, which means you're going to be getting 3-4 extra at-bats per week. So, that's the reason why, he's either going to be hitting leadoff or batting second. So, that's the purpose behind it. And of course, if you believe that Julio is the best player in the lineup, the best batter in the lineup, then you want Julio to be taking those extra swings. Me personally, it's just like, how would you have felt if Ken Griffey Jr. was batting leadoff or batting second? It makes absolutely no sense. The power profile of a guy like Julio, it fits perfectly in the number 3 hole, especially given his on base and speed peripherals. It just makes absolutely no sense that he's not hitting third. It just boggles my mind.
It really does. And the Mariners looks like they're about to begin in just a few moments. And I'm just going to get this out of the way. The first pitch is going to be brought to you by SeatGeek. SeatGeek. Use Rooftop Sports promo code for your $20 off. If you are planning to go to the Mariners-Yankees game tomorrow, even if you're a Yankees fan, use my promo code at least so you can save $20 on that ridiculously probably $15 beer. And I have a question for Alexa. How much is the beer at Yankee Stadium?
From sportsnot.com, beer can cost about $6 at Yankee Stadium.
I don't believe that. Depends what beer, I guess. Probably a very small pint.
Hey, you know what? If Alexa's saying it, I don't know. Might make sense.
Maybe.
Well, what's funny is they charge an arm and a leg for tickets at Yankee Stadium, so I wouldn't be surprised if they have lower concessions in certain areas at Yankee Stadium. So, the Mariners also do that as well too, where they, they'll have, games and games versus opponents where they'll have, value nights, versus different opponents where beers drop down to like $2 or $3.
My advice to the Yankees, the New Yorkers, or if you're visiting, just go get your $1 pizza in New York.
New York. Where are you getting $1 pizza?
That's literally just says $1 pizza.
Oh.
I should have played the Sopranos intro music for this game, honestly. it's a New York, New Jersey thing.
That actually would have been pretty cool. But I'm sure.
And that is a strike, and we are underway.
If it's $1 pizza, it probably isn't that great.
I'll eat it, especially in New York.
Is JP wearing stirrups?
Guess so. The 101, and that is an 0-2 count. And that competitor StubHub is on themselves for the advertisements.
Yeah. That's
StubHub
true.
wants to take my promo codes away. And here is Schmidt. We're looking at the 0-2, the pitch, and that is up high for a ball, 1-2. Yankees are now one of the best teams in baseball right now. As the Mariners, they are now the leaders in the AL West division. And Yankees are trying to be back to that evil empire that they have longed to be and that they are known to be by name. 1-2. That's going to be a 2-2. But because of that Yankee Stadium, you don't really feel that empire vibe as much as you did in the old Yankee Stadium. Old Yankee Stadium, I was terrified to watch a game when I was a kid.
See, you know what though? But I'll tell you what, those old Mariners teams seem to.
And now here's a line drive caught by the third baseman. Nice leaping catch.
Play. Great play at third base.
Got to give it to that. You got to give it to him.
What was I going to say? But those old Mariners teams seem to show up large at Yankee Stadium. Like they were not afraid of the mystique of old Yankee Stadium. So
except 2001 Mariners, they were
listen. Yeah, but I mean, even when they played the Yankees in the regular season, they showed up. They showed up in 2000. They, every time they played in the Bronx, they always managed to show up and give the Yankees
at least gave them a run for their money.
And
hey, Christian, how's it going?
Yeah, what's up, Christian?
And Julio, he foolishly had a swing and a miss, and it's one of those things of like, Julio, you don't have to swing at everything. When are we going to remind him that? The pitch. He even thought about swinging that one, but that was low for a ball. But he is on an 8-game hitting streak, batting .406.
Yep, he is. Hey, did the Cubs win today, Christian?
Who knows? And now here's the 1-1. And a swing and a miss, strike 2. Julio's the only Mariner to play in every game this season, so he has been available. We're looking at a 1-2.
Except for his mental health break day. Remember that?
Yeah, and that didn't age well because his mental health went down after getting picked off. 1-2.
Yeah, that was embarrassing.
And a 2-2 count so far. Well, the only downside of using the Sopranos music or the intro is copyright. So there's like no point. The Star Wars Day on June 12th, I'm willing to take the risk. It's Star Wars Day, and I'm going to advertise some lightsabers if I can get affiliate marketing on that. 2-2. And that is fouled.
There he is right there. He gets a cutter at the top of the zone and fouls it off. And it almost seems like Julio is just sitting on off speed right here. Like he's waiting on slider, like he's anticipating it. And so, you're getting Mr.
2-2
Schmidt right here.
And now here's a fly ball to right field. And that was actually kind of close to being a home run. But that was fouled. 2-2. It's good to see Julio still fighting this off as best as he can after falling on an 0-2 hole. Now we're looking at the 2-2. Washington Nationals have $15 beers. And Zafori, good to see you again. 2-2.
Wow.
And that is low for a ball, 3-2. And Julio's actually doing really well on this at-bat so far.
That's kind of crazy expensive for beer.
DC has a really high cost of living, too. That's why. And I don't really see the appeal of that with the exception of those huge government buildings. But that's about it. The 3-2. Now here's a ground ball, and is that going to get through? No, it won't. The throw to first, and it's in time. But I would have liked to see Julio actually run that. He didn't seem a hustle out of him.
Nice play in the hole by Torres right there. That was a really good play.
I think I have Gleyber Torres on my fantasy team too.
He's the guy that I wanted the Mariners to trade for last
off season. It seems like we want to trade for everyone.
Last deadline.
I don't have Torres, and the Mariners didn't do it, of course.
No, of course.
And here is Luke Raley up to the bat. He's batting .311 with 3 home runs and 11 RBIs. He's been really picking it up, and that is outside for a ball. Schmidt topping out to a 96-mile-an-hour fastball, and he does mix up his pitch as well. So it's going to be tough to see the Mariners actually get any kind of offense going. And even then, they still struggle with the fastball, the 1-0. And that is a foul ball. That was his pitch, but just didn't happen. Luke Raley's on a 7-game hitting streak. He's batting exactly .500, so he has been on fire. Quietly been being one of the best players in baseball in this at least past week. 133 WRC plus, the 1-1, and that is outside for a ball. And it was something that we were concerned about Luke Raley, but the one thing we can all agree on is Scott Service wasn't using him enough early in the season. Yeah. So that was the frustrating part. Absolutely. Now we're looking at the 2-1. Swing and a miss, strike 2.
And we were talking about that through the first 2 months of the season. If you, if you're going to have a guy like Luke Raley, he's got to play more than one day of the week. And of course, the injury to Dom Canzone factored a lot into it.
2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and that is going to retire the side. We go to the bottom of the first, no score, and not even a hit or a walk.
And of course, Ty France, struggling a little bit right there. Gave Rayleigh some opportunity, and he certainly put it together. I'd like to see a little bit more power from him, a little bit more slugging, but I can't be upset with what he's done so far. So, it's nice to see Zafori strolling. That's awesome.
It really is. And check out this clip from my softball highlights from last night.
Foul ball.
And the worst part of that, the guy you saw running home, he thought it was 2 outs, so he got doubled up.
That catcher's got a huge ass. Just unreal. Like that thing was just huge.
Maybe keep those comments to yourself on YouTube, because maybe they won't even be happy that I even have this video out there.
You're fine. Don't worry. I'm just saying. By the way, that was a.
I remember
that swing was better than the last swing that I saw, where you were basically chopping wood to shortstop. That swing was a lot better. You just got under it just a skosh, and you flew out.
I know. I was first trying to do a chopper so I can drive him home with my legs, and it was only 1 out. So worst case, I got an RBI either way. And then I was trying to hit the fly ball to do a sacrifice, but I got under it, and he wasn't paying attention.
Right. That's always the worst. By the way, that only happened to me once in baseball, where I lost track of the outs, and I was playing defense, and I started jogging in from center field.
I've done that many times.
And then my buddy who was playing shortstop was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm going to get ready to hit." He's like, "There's only 2 outs." I was like, "Oh, my bad."
And did the innings still go longer than it should have?
We got the out on
okay, that's good.
Later. Yeah.
Now Brian Wu is very good. Brian Wu is up, and he's got a fastball at 50% of the time. He's gonna have to bring that down. And now here is Anthony Vope, and that is a strike. Does your softball team travel around for like tournaments? We don't travel around, but we did qualify for a bye week in our tournament. So opportunities for a championship may finally be arriving. It is arrived. We're looking at the 0-1, the pitch, and that is outside for a ball, 1-1.
Zafori, I genuinely believe that Tottenham could win Europa League next season if they go out and spend some money and finally replace Harry Kane's production up top.
Because Son can only do so much, and we're
Son's,
looking at the 1-1, the pitch. Yeah. He is up. He's above the hill. Finally, he's past his prime. I'm gonna have to say it.
I don't think he's past his prime. It's just he's not a target player up top.
He's not a number 1 guy. He's a number 2 guy at best.
That's exactly right. And he should be playing on the wing. But that was a hell of a catch out there by Dom Canzone. That was a
2-1. And now here's a line drive to right field, and Canzone dives and he makes the catch. Great catch by Canzone, and thank you, Steve, for the spoilers.
Oh, I thought you were ahead of me.
No, I'm still behind you.
My bad. Yeah.
Canzone with a nice defensive catch. And they say he's not known for his defense, but when he catches it, he catches it. And he does it beautifully. Canzone's that basically means Canzone's a very streaky player. And now here's the terrifying Juan Soto, and here is the pitch. And that is inside for ball.
Christian's funny. At the end of the season, he's going to get paid so much money. It's like, well, yeah, dude. And the difference is it's not going to be deferred like Shohei Ohtani. He's going to get straight paid. We're talking like 30+ million a season.
Boris is going to get paid. The pitch and a swing and a miss, strike 1. Boris just had no clients to actually cash out.
That's right. He had guys that were like on the wrong side of 30 this offseason.
They were
that he couldn't sell.
I do think that I think the criticisms of him was a bit overblown. Because like, well, there are guys that were like above 30. What do you expect? The pitch.
A
If it's
guy
going to
like-
be, if
a
he
guy
was like,
Soto, who's a guy
not
like
even-
Soto who's 26, 27, it's like, yeah, that's going to be able to sell. And I would not be surprised if he ends up in LA.
oh, but no, I think Yankees are going to lock him up.
We'll see.
Except,
see.
and here's the 1-2. And
gonna have
strike
to
three called, and down goes Soto, and now we've got 2 down.
I love how he shakes his head, and it was literally a two piece on the inside half the plate. That was a strike. Yeah, but the problem with the Yankees is that since George Steinbrenner passed away, the Yankees have not been quote unquote
As
the
spendy.
Yankees. Yeah, they're not what you would consider the Yankees to be. They will spend money. Obviously, they retained Aaron Judge and gave him a fat contract. But the reality is, with a team like the Dodgers, who literally just print money like the U.S. Treasury, and will literally just plop down a 10-year contract with $500 million, like the Yankees are going to have to make that decision to push all in with the Dodgers to try to get them back in the Bronx.
And Aaron Judge is facing a 1-0, the pitch, and that is outside for a ball. Got some questions so far. Do you think Munoz is the best closer in MLB by the end of the season? Nope, not even close.
Nope.
Do you think Juan Soto and the Yankees deal? Nope, because Scott Boras will never let that happen. He wants bidders.
Yeah, Scotty Boras never negotiates extensions in season. He usually tells his contract to hit free agency so he can get into a bidding war. That's Scott Boras. He likes bidding.
Exactly what he did with A-Rod, which is why the Mariners were unable to work out anything.
Yeah.
And I think Scott Boras should be just as vilified as people vilify Alex Rodriguez, the 2-1. And a swing and a miss, strike 2.
And I don't think Andres Munoz is the best closer on our team.
Speaking of Aaron Judge, walk Judge. Well, not really, because we're on a 2-2 count right now.
Yep.
Let's try to get him out. Drain his confidence, because Brian Wu, as of now, has been doing pretty well, at least in this first inning.
Yeah, it's
Let's see if
nails
he
so
can
far.
get Judge out.
Got Volpe and Soto, so
He's breathing. He's taking his time. The 2-2. And now here's a fly ball to center field. Julio's there, and he makes the catch, and an easy 1-2-3 inning. We go to top of the second, and we'll be back after these messages from my softball game.
Yes!
Opposite field single, because I had nothing to work with, no runners on base, so I just needed to get on base, and that pitcher pitches strikes. I'm not going to get a walk on it.
yeah, I hear you. Let's see. No, I don't think he's the best closer on the team. As a matter of fact, I actually think Gabe Spire's the best closer on the team, that he's not being used as a closer.
Service never knows how to use a closer.
That's exactly right. And he loves Andres Munoz. But the problem with Munoz is the fact that Munoz sometimes has a problem with throwing way too many pitches. He gets a little walk happy from time to time. Then he has appearances where he just everything bottoms out. And yes, I do think the Spurs should sign Kevin DeBruyne. That would be fantastic. It's not going to happen. And they also have James Madison, so that's probably not going to happen.
Mm-hmm. You don't think he's the best closer? Oh, we already talked about that. He thinks that's crazy. Dirty Baseball thinks we're crazy for saying that.
Listen, man, I just think that we've seen Andres Munoz in two different roles. When he was in the setup role, a couple in 2022, when he was setting up for Paul Sewell, that Andres Munoz was effing nails. And ever since that he's been thrust into the closer's role, he's been hit or miss, man.
And we are back from the break, and they are showing the beautiful Brooklyn Bridge. I'm pretty sure it's the Brooklyn Bridge in New York City. And I actually want to go to New York someday, just so I can have that $1 pizza, go to a Yankees game. I also have a cousin that's an attorney that lives there too.
This is the oddest thing, because I was on the broadcast, the Yankee broadcast on the YES Network, and now all of a sudden I think I'm on the Mariner broadcast
And now here's a fly ball to right field, and that is hooking.
Foul.
That is foul, just foul. That's the second time we've had to say just foul. But Cal Raleigh is the cleanup man, and that's probably the more better fit for him. Batting 223 with 10 homers. The pitch, and he really tried it, and that's going to be a strike two.
He's slugging 900 against the cutter, so this is actually a good matchup for Cal because he actually
the dumper.
He can actually square up the cutter really well. So you're talking
we're
about a guy
at a
who throws
1-2 count. Current road trip, Mariners fell against the Orioles, and they're currently 3-3 in this road trip. So let's make it 4-3. 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike three, and that's only going to keep helping my fantasy baseball team as Schmidt's on my team.
I thought they were 2-2 so far on the road. They dropped 2 in Baltimore, only won 1, and now they won last night. So I think they're 2-2. 2-2 on this road trip so far.
They're 2-2. So let's make it 3-2.
Yeah. Were you getting ahead of yourself and thinking
yes.
they're destined to win tonight?
Maybe. The pitch.
Maybe. That's a good pitch.
And that is a strike. But at least I said they were destined to win and lose at some points. Canzone with 4 home runs and 8 RBIs. He has more home runs than Julio. The 0-1. And a check swing. That's going to be a strike. And we said it about Dom Canzone. When he swings and misses, it's ugly. When he hits a home run, it's beautiful. Definition of streaky. 0-2. And that's a good eye. That's going to be a 1-2 count. It's been since 1997 since I have been to New York. Last time I was in New York, Patrick Ewing was just out of his prime. Just peaked.
I have yet to see New York.
1-2.
It's not my type of city, man. It's not.
It's been becoming less desired over the past 10 years.
Yeah, it's just not my cup of city. Not my cup of tea as far as cities goes. 20 million people crammed into a small island. Not my style.
The 1-2 and a foul ball. And the other thing too is consider the fact you're probably paying like $4,000 for depending where you are for like a studio. There are people that live in closets, literally.
Yeah. I have a friend that lives on the west side in Manhattan, and his rent is just insane. I'm like, dude.
The 1-2 and a swing and a miss, strike three, and that's another strikeout for Schmidt. And Schmidt is just racking up the Ks. He's now that should be his 4th strikeout now. Julio went down. No, Julio had the single, but he didn't hustle it very well. They're talking about firework night, country music, y'all, on May 31st.
Ooh, are they going to have Brooks and Dunn?
Who knows, y'all? We're talking about Ty France, and now here's the pitch. Ooh. And a swing and a miss, strike one, and Andrew Schmidt's really getting this guy. I mean, we said it. We were nervous about Andrew Schmidt because he does a good job mixing up his pitches, and that doesn't do well with the Mariners.
Here comes the slider.
The 0-1. Yep. And that was the slider, and we're talking about an 0-2 count already.
Here comes the hook. It's either going to be cutter it on the hands, or it's going to be the sweeper low and away. There's only 2 options.
France is at 8 RBIs in the last 12 games, batting .236 with a .284 OBP. 0-2. At least he didn't swing at that one. It's going to be a 1-2 count.
There's sweeper right there.
Ty France also has a .357 slugging percentage. Not exactly good. 7 doubles this season, 4 home runs.
Yeah, but though it's rising from where it was. So he's starting to come around a little bit here.
1-2. And that is low for a ball. 2-2 for Ty France.
He got a nice little RBI base hit last night. That was actually kind of a huge knock for Ty.
That's the Ty France that we know and love.
It was an ugly swing, but it still got the job done.
Ty France has ugly swings. 2-2.
Yeah, he does.
And that's a foul ball. I didn't fault him for swinging that because that may have gone down to the strike zone, so he probably would have struck out had he not swung. So I'm glad he did. Schmidt is at a 2-2 count on Ty France. Can he do something? The 2-2.
Nope.
And another swing and a miss, strike 3. On each of those outs, the bat didn't even make a click with the ball. We go to the bottom of the second. There is still no score. And here is, I think I'll show this video towards the end because it was towards the end of this game. But I am going to take a breather. SeatGeek is a mobile ticketing app for sporting events, concerts, and other events. They make the buying experience easier by the app ranking each ticket from 0 to 10 to see if you are getting a good deal, and you can see exactly where you are sitting. I regularly use that app, and I have had nothing but a fantastic experience with SeatGeek. Use my promo code RooftopSports to get $20 off of your first purchase. Link to the code, app, and website will be in the description, so take advantage, and thank you. Take advantage of it. Get off of your wallets, y'all, or get off of your wallets and use that promo code to save your $20.
Absolutely.
Why don't you buy $21 pizzas in New York instead?
And I used your promo code last week.
I love it. And also, we just read news that Colt Emerson, Mariners prospect, he is now on the IL. So that begs the question: do the Mariners dare to call up Thelmine Celestine to Modesto? They say that by the end of the month, it is possible. So that's something to pay attention to. So finally,
as long as Celestine is able to handle the responsibility of moving up to low A, I wouldn't see that being a problem. It seems like his game is well rounded. So. My question to you is when do you think the Mariners strike? You would probably think that, Jerry and Justin understand the holes on this roster, understand what they have in the minor leagues as far as prospect goes. Is there anybody that's 100% untouchable, or is everybody available as a means to get this roster well-rounded?
I think Colt Emerson is going to be a trade asset of the future.
Yeah,
because those injury history is really happening now. Luckily, it's kind of like an under the radar thing for now because he's in the low A in the A's.
Right.
But I think Ty Pete and Colt Emerson's would be the first names to be brought up for a possible trade.
The only guy that I just really don't want to see the Mariners part with right now is Lazaro
Montes.
Yeah.
Now here's a ground ball and diving play by France to throw to first in time. Or a sliding, but great play by Ty France on the defensive end. But yes, Celestine, Cole Young, Harry Ford.
Everyone else is available as far as I'm concerned.
Celestine.
That means, so Celestine, Cole Young, Harry Ford, Tyler Locklear, all of those guys are available. As far as I'm concerned, they're bullets in a gun. And if you're trying to hit your targets, you got to have as many as available. And with the way this team drafts and develops, it's not out of the realm of possibility. Within 2 years, they're back to where they are.
Woody Woodward would have traded his entire. Oh, and here is a fly ball to center field, and Julio's there and makes the catch. If this was the '90s Mariners, they would have traded everyone out by now.
It depends. What do you like? Here's the thing, right? Like and the reason why you probably say that is because he traded Julio
Ortiz.
Cruz. Oh, he traded Ortiz when he was an A-ball, but he got rid of Julio Cruz Jr., Jose Cruz Jr. When he had got up because the Mariners desperately needed bullpen help in the '97 season. But that being said, if all things were equal, he probably wouldn't have. He was never going to trade A-Rod. He was never going to trade, trade Junior when he was young as well either. I mean, there were certain guys that were untouchable, but Bavasi certainly would have traded everybody.
Oh, everyone been gone by now. The 1-0.
Yeah, for sure.
And there's a line drive, base hit, and that's going to be the first hit for the New York Yankees that they got someone on first base.
We would end up with guys like Horacio Ramirez or Ben Broussard.
Yeah.
I get it, William Cook. I understand. I don't like the idea of trading him either. But that being said, if you can bring in a guy who's got a couple more years of club control, who's a 30 home run guy, you kind of have to pull the trigger on it, man.
Here's Gleyber Torres batting 7th in the order. At one point, he was one of the rising stars of the team, and a swing and a miss, strike 1. He is struggling this season, though. 221 with 2 homers.
Yeah, but by the end of the season, Gleiber's probably going to be somewhere up around 250 with 20. He'll get hot in this lineup and this playing 81 games in this stadium. Yeah, he'll finish well.
He really would.
He will.
And now he's down to an 0-2 count so far.
And the thing that I like about Brian Wu tonight is he's really attacking the strike zone, but he's not leaving anything out over the plate to get crushed. He is really doing a phenomenal job with the secondary pitches right there.
A pitch.
Right.
And that is a swing and a miss, strike 3. And Brian Wu with another strikeout, and that will actually retire the side. We go to the top of the third. Still no score.
Yeah, no, Zafori's absolutely right. See, Toronto is going to be the interesting team because technically they're still in it. Toronto's front office seems to think that they're going to be fine, that everything is going to rebound. But that being said, that's going to be the linchpin for the Mariners as far as sellers goes, because you're absolutely right, Zafori. They have a glutton of talent north of the border, and both Bo Bichette and Vladimir Guerrero, Vlad Jr., are both coming up for extension. I think after next season, and none of them are re-signed long-term. And so it might not be out of the realm of possibility if Toronto bottoms out between now and the deadline that one or both of those guys ends up getting moved.
Let me see who his agent is.
I would love Bo Bichette in Seattle.
At shortstop, right?
Ooh.
Bo Bichette.
You would wonder if they maybe transition him to third, because that dude's an athlete. He can play anywhere on the deck.
The years I'm really waiting for, as long as we have our core, I'm waiting for the time we get Spelling Celestine, Cole Young, and Lazaro Montez. That is what I'm waiting for. And we said we said for a few years ago, they're like, oh yeah, we're looking forward to Julio, Kyle Lewis, Jared Kelnick. That was going to be the outfield of the future, and unfortunately, only one of them made it out.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Lewis had his moments in 2020 though, and September of 2019.
I want the Mariners to give a ring to Miami and ask how much Tanner Scott's going to cost them. Having that dude in the back end of our bullpen, Miami's current closer.
Yeah, because Miami's pretty much on its tank side right now.
Yeah.
And now we are back from the break.
I wouldn't mind checking in to see what's up with Luis Robert.
We got Mitch Garver up to the plate. That is a strike. Mitch Garver's batting 169 with 5 home runs, 14 RBIs. He's not good, but when he hits a home run, he hits a home run. The 0-1, and that is inside for a ball.
He's 1 for 3 career versus Schmidt here, so that certainly bodes well. Last 13 games, he's batting 233 with 2 home runs, 7 RBI.
Let's see if he can do something. 1-1.
Yeah, I would be too.
Here's a ground ball right to the third baseman. Easy play. Throw to first in time. And now we got one down.
I know that Luis Robert started the season with a little hip injury. He's not 100%, but that dude still got 2 more years of club control. And that's the type of guy that you would like to see. A guy like Pete Alonso in New York. The problem with that is he's a free agent after the season, and that's literally a straight rental where you have no shot at getting him in this offseason. So it probably wouldn't make sense. Not for the Mariners, at least.
Has to be someone that is still somewhat under contract.
Yeah. You want a little club control.
Ooh, Josh Rojas is 1 for 22 with 7 strikeouts. Eesh.
Yeah, he's on a little bit of a
slump.
A little bit of a slump.
Well, maybe making him where he is right now is not the worst idea.
Yeah, I mean, Josh is going to have his weeks where he's raking, and then he's going to have these weeks. It's baseball.
We're looking at the 1-1 count for Rojas, and that is outside for a ball. We're looking at a 2-1 count. At least he's ahead of the count on this one. He has 3 home runs this season. He's still one of our best hitters on the team, if not the most efficient, at least. Lisa
362
Patilda,
OBP.
362.
One
The
of the
pitch.
things
Foul ball, strike 2.
one of the things you got to do in a hitting slip is still figure out a way to get on base, which means if you're for whatever reason your timing's off on the fastball, or you're just not getting the opposite way base hits that you continue to you had previously gotten, maybe work a walk and try to figure out a way to get on base.
And the 2-2 pitch. And that is inside for a ball. We're looking at a full count, 3-2. And I think that's the first time we've had a full count for anyone on the Mariners today. Let's hope that we can figure this out. We're looking at a 3-2.
Here.
Let's do it. The 3-2 pitch.
Ooh,
now here's a ground ball, and that is going to be a base hit. And will Rojas go to second base? He is going to go to second base, and he's going to be there for a stand-up double.
There you go, and that's how you break out of a slump. 3-2 pitch. He gets a cutter up and just deposits down the right field line.
That's the Rojas that we definitely need. He does tend to do that. 5 doubles this season.
And that cutter was literally up right at the belt and right past Riz at first base right there. That was a very good piece of hitting right there.
Nice job by Rojas.
Now you got to bring him in.
Now Dylan Moore's got to do it. The pitch. And that is a strike, but that was outside the strike zone. What are you doing, umpire?
Who would I want if Miami does open up the flea market? Tanner Scott.
What about Jazz? What's his name?
Jazz Chisholm. Yeah. I mean, Jazz right now is a starting center field. I think he's the starting center fielder for Miami. I wouldn't mind Jazz being in Seattle, playing in left field or playing in right field.
Dylan Moore is batting .353 with 1 home run and 9 RBIs. He is absolutely one of the best for the team on that situation. And the umpire fell for the frame job. That's going to be a 1-2 count.
Yeah, that was a ball. The 2 strikes here. This should be a 3-0 count right now.
It really should be a 3-0. Dylan Moore has 25 hits this season, 14 extra base hits. Very efficient. 1-2. And a check swing does not go. That's going to be a 2-2.
You know, Jazz Chisholm, I like the fact that he gets on base a lot. He just does, you wonder whether or not that, that entices Seattle because he doesn't necessarily have the slugging peripherals that the Mariners desire.
The 2-2. And that is outside 3-2. Like, he should be walking by now.
Yeah, he should be on first base.
And after Dylan Moore, it is going to be J.P. Crawford who is on deck. Dylan Moore working on a 3-2. He does well with the runners in scoring position. And now here's the 3-2. And now here's a fly ball to left field and fouled. Another third time where a home run was taken away by a foul ball. And also, don't mean to ruin it for your Mariner fans. Mariner batters are batting 107 with runners in scoring position. So it's not going to be easy to score on this guy. Maybe they will have to live and die by the home run.
Yeah, I just want to see Demo put a good
3-2. And now here's a fly ball to deep left field. Is that still going? That is gone. A home run for Dylan Moore. The Mariners take a 2-0 lead off a Dylan Moore home run. It's the Mariners 2 and the Yankees nothing.
Boom! That was a sweet swing right there. And that's Demo.
That's the Demo that we know and love.
Dude, just coming up clutch. I mean, that pitch was literally middle. The one thing that you can say about Dylan is the fact that he literally can square up the fast. Probably the only guy in the lineup right now that's squaring up fastballs. And there it was right there, a cutter hanging, and he crushed it.
Dylan Moore has absolutely... It's crazy to say that he's doing better than Jorge Polanco. And now here is J.P. Crawford, the pitch. And that is going to be a strike. And one thing I noticed about Dylan Moore, when he hits a home run, he's like, oh, crap! Did I just hit a home run? He has that kind of expression. Now we're looking at an 0-2 for J.P. Crawford. And now Schmidt is getting ready. And now here's the 0-2. And that is strike 3 called. Another outside the strike zone. JP Crawford wasn't happy with it, but you got to shake that off, man. Just go to the dugout. Just be good. And now we got 2 down for Julio Rodriguez. And can Julio Rodriguez extend this inning? We would like to see so. I mean, at this point, just hit the bomb within reason, of course. But in a situation like this, you feel like you got not much to lose. Here's the pitch, and that is inside for a ball. 1-0 to Julio. He grounded out in the first where I felt that he should have hustled it more. What am I to say? I don't play Major League Baseball, but I still think he should have with his speed. We're looking at the 1-0, and that is inside for a ball. That's going to be a 2-0 count. This time, Julio's being much more patient this time. And now we're looking at a 2-0 count. And here is the pitch. And he reached it, and that's going to be a foul ball. He thought he had some kind of an extra base hit on that one, but it's going to be a foul, 2-1. Dylan Moore. I'm sorry. They were showing the camera of Dylan Moore. And now it's a 2-1 for Julio.
Julio.
Here's the pitch. 3-1 count for Julio Rodriguez. He's really worked this count very well. Maybe someone did remind him to not just swing at literally everything. So this
now this is a position where you're 3-1. You're going to get your pitch right here.
3-1. And that is going to be a strike 2. I mean, yeah, I knew he would call that a strike. That's like an umpire thing to do, is just call that a strike. 58 pitches for Schmidt so far.
A little cutter in on the hands right there, and so I was kind of curious that Julio didn't try to get out in front of that, considering that's kind of like the Julio playbook, try to cheat and get the bat head out in front. But now you're 3-2, and it's going to be interesting.
3-2, and that is inside for ball 4. Take your base as Julio Rodriguez gets on board with a walk.
Why do you like him?
Because he gets on base.
Well, kind of. I'll say this, but now that you got Julio with a 2-out walk, I would like to see Service put him in motion.
Put him in motion, because what do you really got to lose?
Right, because you got a guy up in Raleigh right now who actually is hitting the ball, seeing the ball quite well. And that might be a situation, maybe not on the first pitch, on the second pitch, you put Julio in motion, maybe play the hit and run, and see if Raleigh can put one down the right field line. And if Julio's on the run, he easily scores from first base. That's my little Ron Fairleyism for the night.
But you gotta say it like Ron Fairley, like if you just take off and steal that, and Raleigh can put the bat on the ball, that's an easy score for Julio Rodriguez.
Yeah, Dave, with Julio on second base and a base hit, he'll be looking to score.
Oh, I got to watch those games again with Ron Fairley on it. I got to study it so I can do more impressions. The pitch. And that is a ball. I might be able to pull off a Griffey impression on the commercial break. Let's see if I can pull it off.
Ron Fairley is one of the greatest dudes I've ever had the pleasure of sitting down and talking with. He was just a fantastic dude.
Swing and a miss, strike 1.
Speaking of Junior, I just saw the old Nike commercial where it's set in New York and he literally runs across the country to catch a foul ball, to catch a home run ball from Don Mattingly. Remember that Nike commercial?
I saw that.
In California, he throws the guy out at home plate.
Yeah. The 1-1. And a swing and a miss, and Luke Raley is just not finding. He's just not finding the ball with the bat.
Well, he's Schmidt's staying away from him, and of course Raley's got that that little short swing of his.
We're looking at the 1-2, and a throw to first, and not in time. It just seems barely.
Well, Zafori, I would say that Luis Robert is. The guy that you would like to have.
Chicago have nothing left of value. Yeah, it's pretty sad. Chicago is a sad story, especially the White Sox. It's just embarrassing. Jerry Reinsdorf running that team to the ground, just like he did with the Bulls.
Except the Bulls won 6 championships in 8 years. You know,
Can't dwell on it any longer though. The 1-2. And that frame job didn't sell it to him this time. That's gonna be a 2-2 for Luke Rayleigh. Luke Rayleigh is just trying to make something happen. We're looking at the 2-2. And here is the pitch. And now here's a fly ball to center field. That may not be enough. Center field's there. Makes a nice little barely basket of a catch. We go to the bottom of the inning, and Dylan Moore hit that 2-run home run to give the Mariners a 2-0 lead. And are you ready for my Ken Griffey Jr. impression? I'm going to try. It's probably not going to be good at all. So back in 95, I was visiting New York, and those fans, they were just badgering me about whether I'd play for New York. And I told them, if I had to play for New York and I was the only team left, I'd retire. So I didn't play for them because my dad, he told me that it was a horrible place to play. So I'm following his footsteps. You think I nailed it?
I think you could go on stage and do impressions for a living. All right, so Flick at the Switch has just joined us. Here's what he wants to know. Why the F is Rojas and Moore hitting 8th and 9th? Well,
it made it a 2-0 lead.
well, yeah, so right, but that's true. They are two of the hottest hitters. Well, because JP Crawford came back from the DL and assumed his spot at the top of the lineup, pushing Rojas down to 8th. Demo is always going to be batting 9th, and as you saw, Dylan Moore doubled to kind of snap a little hitting slump, and Demo took Schmidt deep. Clark Schmidt deep.
Yeah, I didn't have a problem with both of them because they tend to provide more value when they're towards the bottom of the lineup than the top of the lineup.
Right. The only thing I had a problem with tonight, the lineup is having Luke Rayleigh batting third. I actually prefer Rayleigh batting second and Julio batting third if you want to go left, right, left. But Scott Service just does not answer my texts. That's really
no
down to. I texted him this afternoon and I said, "Hey," I said, "What up, dog? Why isn't Julio batting third?" And then he, I saw the little dot.
It just went to red,
and then he just didn't respond.
At least he read it. Oswaldo Cabrera looks like he's the third baseman for the New York Yankees. Must be a new hot shot of the future. We're looking at 0-1, the pitch. And now here's a fly ball to right field, and Canzone with another diving catch. That's the second one of the day. And
dude,
Brian Woo's like,
out
thank
again.
You.
He's taken some shine off of Julio, because that's the second time he's laid out for a ball in the gap, and he played that well. That's the value of a dude like Canzone, because that boy's got wheels, and he actually tracks a ball very well.
He does have good tracking.
Yeah, he does. He tracks a baseball well. I'd move Julio to 6th or 7th until he gets his shit together.
No, just put him at third, and it'll solve the problem right there. Statistically speaking, it does.
Yeah,
I think
we're at that point where Julio should be batting third every single game. I just think his power translates perfectly to the 3-hole, and he's still going to get that extra at bat per week. That the reason why they have him either lead off or second.
And
he's going to get it.
Is 0-2. He's batting not even a buck.
Trent Grisham, yeah, batting 0-61.
He's batting in the pennies.
Championship.
Scott Spiezio had a batting average like that.
Wasn't just out of curiosity. Wasn't Trent Grisham with the Padres last year? I think he was one of the guys that came over in the Soto.
And now here's a pop up.
Maybe not.
And that's gonna be foul. Is Cal Raw gonna be there? He doesn't make the. Oh, he makes the catch. Did he make the catch? No, it hit the net. It was so close.
Demo is tied for second in launch angle, third in pull rate, and tied for 8th since the slugging on fastballs. Yeah, see the slugging on fastballs. The slugging on fastballs is very prevalent to him. But launch angle and pull rate, I could care less.
Honestly, I actually did applaud the effort of Ty France. That is not easy to catch on that angle. I'm going to say that. When you're running towards the end of it, I wouldn't have caught that. Don't ask me to catch something like that.
Why not, man? Go all out. You're trying to win a ball game.
You sound like one of those people that are like, don't walk, hit.
Well, I just think that, in the game of baseball, obviously you're going to lose some games. But that being said, your priority every game is to be in a position to win them all. It's one of the things that I don't like about Scott Service.
1-2. And a swing and a miss, strike 3. That's another strikeout for Brian Wu. That is strikeout number 4.
But it's nice to see a guy like Cal Raleigh try to make a play on something like that. That was a great pitch, by the way. Fastball up, inducing a swing, and Trent Grisham just looked foolish on that fastball.
Correction, that is his 3rd strikeout, and he is just absolutely on fire right now. And we need to win.
We need to win this series versus the Yankees so we can prove that we are a playoff threat.
It's fair point.
I think the series to do it was against the Orioles.
That would have been the series to do it. Would have been nice. And that Sunday game, they really had a shot.
But that being said, taking 3 out of 4 in the Bronx would be very, very nice.
Yeah, I don't think the Mariners have ever swept the Bronx on a 4-game set. They have on a 3-game set many times.
Yeah.
And we're looking at the 0-2.
Yeah.
And here is the 0-2, and that's a foul ball.
Just being aggressive in every single game. And, the one thing I just don't like is, when they're down, even by 2 or, 2 runs or 2 or 3 runs, I just, Service is, I don't know. I know they came back last night.
0-2. And now here's a ground ball right to JP, the throw to first, and that is in time, and that's going to retire the side. We go to the top of the 4th inning. It is 2-0 Mariners still. And now we need a word from our other sponsor. And Flick, you're going to be terrified of this. Modern Exterior Solutions.
Modern Exterior Solutions is a fully licensed and insured full-service exterior renovations company serving Seattle and East Side communities. We know that a home is one of your most important possessions. That's why we're committed to providing high-quality, affordable home renovations for each customer's individual budget. We're diverse enough to meet the challenges of any project you put in front of us. Our workmanship minimizes the use of third-party services, and our team works together to meet all your deadlines. Anytime there's a challenge, we work with you to find a solution. We are proud to work with distributors of quality brand products with durable, ample protection from the elements for a variety of applications, including James Hardie siding and trim. Talk with us today about your project's needs, and we can help you solve all the challenges along the way.
With that real estate market picking up, if you're looking to sell that house, please get that last fix job on your siding and exteriors, because one time when I was doing a final walkthrough for a house for my client, the siding was garbage. They used the vinyl siding, and there was a part where the vinyl siding was literally dangling off the house. And we were like, can you guys fix that? Knowing that you guys went cheap. They fixed it, but it was like a horrible choice for siding. Vinyl is a non-starter.
Right.
Gotta go
modern, so you got to go with Modern Exterior Solutions. It's no doubt about it. And if you use the promo code Modern Rooftop, you'll get 20% off. And the cool part is they'll probably give you a modern rooftop, so you kill 2 birds with 1 stone right there.
You get the modern rooftop more than a presidential roof.
That's exactly right. So you know what I'm saying? Like now would be the time right before summer. If you're looking to do some home improvements, don't be shy, man. Give them a call, 206-992-4465. That's 206.
And now here's a fly ball to deep right field. Does it have enough? Nope. And Dave Sims that one.
Yeah. But yeah, no, getting back to what I was saying earlier, especially in game 1 and game 3 when the Mariners were still in it in Baltimore, Service's bullpen options seemed very suspect at best. And,
He
it
plays
seemed like
that, screw it. Let's just do the next game.
it literally felt like he punted those 2 games.
The pitch. And that is a ball. We're looking. Canzone's 0 for 1, but he has 2 amazing catches today.
Yeah. You would like to see
1-0.
Dom here, drive one into the gap here. It would be nice.
It really would. Anything. But I am just feeling a Dom home run. I don't know why, but I'm just feeling it. I just don't know why. It's probably because of Yankee Stadium. The 2-0.
That would be fantastic if he got out in front a little quick and put one into the right field stands. I would just like to see him get on base, period. He's in I think he's now in a 2-0 count. It would be nice if he gets a base hit or draws a walk here just to get some traffic.
But man, this umpire he's calling outsiders. Wow. They're talking about the sighting stuff.
I know. He's saving his burlap for his future wife's wedding gown.
Yeah. We're looking at the 2-2 so far.
So you would like to see your future wife wearing a potato sack?
Oh, did he go? He did not. It's going to be a 3-2 count. He really should be walking, though. Canzone should be walking.
I'll say this for a home plate umpire tonight. He's got a terrible strike zone.
It's like a little bit wide.
It's incredibly wide.
It's wider than it's long. The pitch. And that is ball 4. Take your base.
There you go, Dom.
And there you go. This is for you, Dom.
Why do you like him?
Because he gets on base.
Not really, but he did.
And now I'm back to the Yes Network. So I guess I'm switching between the Root feed and the Yes feed. Interesting. Okay.
At least you'll hear, "See ya! A home run by Aaron Judge."
See ya! I hate that.
The pitch. Or how about this one? Batting shortstop, number 2, Derek Jeter.
But he over enunciates the T in Jeter. So it's not Jeter, it's Jeter.
Jeter. Throw to first. Not in time.
Have you ever noticed there's really no good play-by-play guys in baseball anymore? Like the era of very good storytellers was dead.
Gone.
Yeah.
And they canceled the final one. That was my favorite, Tom Brenneman. If only he just hit the mute button. The pitch.
Yeah, I mean,
I faulted him for not hitting the mute button.
It's there's no carry, there's no carries anymore. There's no what's his bucket down in LA?
Vin Scully.
Yeah, there's nowhere Niehaus, there's
Rio.
no Scully. Yeah,
Rick Riz is pretty much he's on color commentating now at this point.
And then Jack Buck is no longer there. I wish Joe Buck would do baseball full time. He doesn't. He does Monday Night Football.
Rio.
Now.
He got an unreasonable amount of hate, in my opinion. I think the hate he got was very unreasonable. They tried to say he was boring, but there's times where he was excited.
One of my favorite was the former Tiger play-by-play guy,
3-1,
Ernie Harwell.
What I liked was Jack Buck and Joe Buck called Mark McGwire home runs. Yeah. That's the father and son that nobody talks about.
Well, you remember Harry Carey and Skip Carey. Skip Carey used to do Mariner broadcasts there for a couple of years back in the 90s.
Didn't know.
Before he ended up in Atlanta calling Braves games. But yeah.
3-2.
Yeah,
and now fly ball foul. And that's another should have been home run, but it just keeps carrying. Like anytime you're at Yankee Stadium, you feel that this is a big opportunity for any of these guys to hit home runs.
Oh, I loved Harry Carey though. He was the greatest.
We're looking at a 3-2. My most favorite was Tom Brenneman. I miss him the most from Fox.
Let me ask you a question.
The 3-2.
If the
ball probably going to be a double play ball to throw to first. And that is in time. And that's going to be a double play for the Yankees. Yep. We go to the bottom of the 4th. And of course, Ty France hits a double play. Okay, let me try. What's another guy I can impersonate?
Let me ask you a question. If the moon were made of ribs, would you eat it? I know I would.
As you can
I'd
tell,
watch-
that Ty France, he hit the ball that was very unideal, which turned into a double play.
You know, Ty France is just one of those guys. You know, you can always count on him. Although he hit into a double play.
Let me try this
there's
guy.
no doubt.
As you can see, Ty France hit that double play that just didn't work out for the Mariners. Okay, who am I?
I have no idea.
I try to be Dave Henderson because he sounds like he's like super chill. It's like, yep, and the Dylan Moore, the way he hit that home run.
I just remember Dave Henderson had a problem speaking, like clearly speaking. You know what I mean? Like, because you could tell that he was always green in the booth, right? So it almost seemed like you can tell, like with his nervous moments, like sometimes he had trouble talking.
Dave Valley sounded like he was always jacked up.
See, now my favorite role, play-by-play role guy was Ken Levine. Not a lot of guys remember Ken Levine. So Levine came in like in 90, 91, somewhere in that area.
No one's going to remember that.
And he was like only around for like a year, maybe two. But he was so good at the play-by-play. He's the guy who actually wrote, he was a TV writer. He actually wrote MASH, the TV show MASH.
What about Tom Paciorek for 1 year in 2001 for like 3 games?
Yeah, that's funny. Or Mauricio Pochettino would be an interesting impersonation. Yeah, well, isn't Poca? I can't pronounce his last name. He's Australian. I still think that Spurs never should have got rid of Pochettino, but it is what it is. I love
Tom Canzone catches.
I love the fact that Zavori is talking Spurs football, but hey.
Juan Soto is up to the plate, batting second in the order, arguably an MVP candidate for this American League. And Brian Wu, here is the pitch, and that is a strike. 95 for Brian Wu.
Ooh, just a reminder for everybody: tomorrow's game versus the Yankees is going to be on Amazon Prime.
Aye. But that's gonna be a strike. But I'm gonna be watching the Caitlin Clark game in Seattle.
Are you really?
Yes, I am.
You got a crush on her, don't you?
Doesn't us all basketball fans do? I had a crush on Kelsey Plum at one point.
Well, she's a dime though. Kelsey Plum is a dime. 100%.
I'm surprised the league didn't grow because of her, but it also didn't help. It took her like 2 or 3 years to become an all-star. That did not help.
Who's the European chick the Storm has? I think she might be from Croatia, or she might be from Poland.
Not sure.
Or Czechoslovakian.
But these Euros are taking over. They're taking over basketball.
That chick is decent. You know, by the way, former Storm player, Australian.
Lauren Jackson, 1-2.
Good Lord.
Here's a swing. And that is out. Another strikeout against Juan Soto. And Brian Wu's father's like, yeah, get him out.
Good pitch. Good pitch again.
Brian Wu's really on his A game right now.
Dorka, you maybe. Anyway, yeah, but Lauren Jackson was just straight heat back in the day. Good Lord. She was tall too. Like 6'10".
She was tall and she was terrifying.
6'10".
No, she was 6'5". The pitch.
Whatever. She is a giant.
I remember when she hit the game-tying three-pointer in the playoffs. I remember I had fries and ketchup, and when that three-pointer happened, my friend bear hugged me so much that I spilled everything. That's how crazy it was.
I remember I was
1-0.
I think I was at an Everett Aqua Sox game where a foul ball, I was eating nachos, and a foul ball hit me in the nachos, and it went everywhere.
Nice.
And I didn't get the ball. I've never.
No, it was
all
gone.
No. What ended up happening was that a kid, as I was like covered in nacho cheese, and I was trying to figure out what just happened. I was in a daze there for a second. Some kid scooped up the ball, and I'm not the type of guy that's just going to go back to the kid and say, "Hey, can I have the ball?" I would think that would be acceptable considering I was covered in cheese, but it wasn't the case.
1-2. And a swing and a miss, strike 3. Down goes Aaron Judge, and look at Brian Wu's dad going, yeah!
Yeah, again, he's just blowing heat past him.
96, and Brian Wu's at 5 strikeouts.
I heard that Pochettino was actually negotiating an extension with Chelsea. I didn't think he got sacked, huh? That's news.
And Brian Wu is only at 41 pitches, and we not even 41 pitches. The pitch, and that is another strike. And Brian Wu is just on fire. Let's keep it going.
You know, you're essentially right now you're essentially 10 pitches per inning. So I mean, his pitch count is very good. And
we should tell Service that.
Looks like Cal Raleigh's having a glove issue. But that being said, man, and
this is the turning point of the game.
Well, you know, especially considering he's gotten whiffs, swinging whiffs on Soto and Judge, and now he's working ahead of a guy like Alex Verdugo, who was last night was a Mariner killer. This is actually really impressive.
Batting .253 is Alex Verdugo. And we're looking at the 0-1 so far.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about.
Brian Wu is awaiting. And here is the pitch. And now here's a line drive, and that is going to drop for a base hit. That could be extra bases, and it is going to be extra base. And it keeps bobbling the ball, and I think he's going to third base. The throw to third, way off, and now we got a man on third base. Runners well in scoring position because of a bobble miscommunication between Luke Raley and Julio Rodriguez.
Yeah, then Julio bobbled it.
It was a terrible bobbling job.
Right. No, I think the person I'm thinking about from the Storm is Nika Muhl, Muhl.
No idea.
Yeah.
Alex, you go with 11 doubles this season.
And again, this is the type of play that leads
Anthony Rizzo.
For whatever reason,
he did not.
A lack of communication in the outfield.
Very.
And now all of a sudden you have a runner on third base. Now it's up to Brian to get the final out right here. But that being said, that was just a piss poor decision in the outfield. And we've seen this a few times this season.
And that is a strike. Let's see if Brian Wu can just get out of this inning.
And, that's, the thing about it is Julio is the quarterback of the outfield. He's the center fielder. He has the right of way. And so Raley should automatically know that if there's any 50-50 ball in the gap, obviously Julio.
And it's popped up. And is that going to go out of play? It doesn't go out of play, but no one could get there on time.
The count's 1-2 now, so let's
honestly,
see.
I feel like the only thing I would ever do in New York is just go to a Yankees game and eat food. That's literally it. I feel like that's what New York is. And I'm not going to go shopping because it's going to be even more expensive there.
Oh, yeah. I think if I'm ever in New York, that's exactly what I'm going to be doing. I'll spend the entire time just eating, just because there's so much good food in New York.
And so much walking to do, too. But that's it. 1-2. And now here's a line drive foul. I guess you can go to the bridge, go to the Statue of Liberty, World Trade Center.
That's what I miss about Seattle, is it's such a melting pot. You can find good food everywhere.
And now the restaurants are kind of starting to fly away.
That's what I miss about Seattle.
San Francisco, I could see if they would probably have great food. Chinatown had good food. 1-2. Foul ball.
Like if you want Ethiopian food, you got it. If you want Mexican, you got it. Seattle has such good food. Their sushi is off the chain too.
Oh, Chinatown is underrated. Yeah, I don't think they get enough love.
See, the problem with Michigan is that it was settled by
1-2. Check swing heat go. Nope.
It was settled by the Polish and the Dutch and the Jewish communities. So if you want good Jewish food, or if you want good Polish food, we got that, and we got a lot of good Southern food as well too. But like Mexican food, not really. And that's
I don't think Detroit will work for me.
Detroit's a great town, though, man. I like, dude. It's everybody's got these preconceived notions of Detroit, but I'll tell you what, man. Detroit's a really cool town. I love going to Detroit when I'm
2-2, and that's gonna be low 3-2 for Anthony Rizzo.
Yeah, Nika Mule. Good looking gal.
Brian Wu is working a little bit of a jam right now.
When I first moved to Michigan, I was staying at my sister's house in a town called Bloomfield Hills, which is just to the north, about 25 minutes north of Detroit. And it has a very big Jewish community. And like for the first month, I was eating at delicatessens like 3 times a week, and I ballooned. That food is so good. So good.
So good, huh? And we're looking at a full count, 3-2, and Brian Wu is starting to think he's feeling a little bit nervous after a guy on third base, feeling the pressure. 3-2, and that is fouled. That I think if he didn't swing at that, that would have been a ball 4. So good thing he did swing at that and making it go foul. 50 pitches for Wu. I don't like that because now that Scott Servais like, maybe I'll pull him out after the 6th inning, not the 7th inning. That's what he's probably thinking. Now Brian Wu's father's starting to feel it.
Are you feeling it, Brian?
The 3-2 pitch. Now here's a ground ball right to Dylan Moore. Throw to first in time, and the Mariners get out of a little bit of a jam. We go to the top of the 5th inning. It is still 2-0 Mariners.
Great, great ground ball out right there to get out of the inning, and that's exactly what you were looking for out of Brian Wu. Shut the Yankees down right there, get out of the inning, and that's absolutely huge. Get the game back to the Mariner offense. And yes, Safori, that's exactly who I was talking about. So I will say this because we don't have necessarily a Chinatown. Usually most major metropolitan cities have a Chinatown. What Detroit has is a Mexican town. So their population of Latino folks are situated in the western corridor of Detroit, and their food is off the chain. So good.
You're putting me in the mood for some Mexican food now.
100%. And oh, by the way, Comerica Park is a fantastic ballpark, man. It's got that old timey ballpark feel, and it's a good place to watch baseball. I usually sit in the left field bleachers, right over the visiting bullpen, right underneath the big scoreboard there in left field. Very good place to watch a baseball game.
Did you ever have experience watching a Tigers game in the old Tiger Stadium?
I did not. I wish I was around for Tiger Stadium, but when they closed down Tiger Stadium, I believe after the 1999 season,
I
was just getting out of high school, so no, I did not have an opportunity to watch baseball at Tiger.
My ultimate biggest regret is not going to a Yankees game at the old Yankee Stadium.
One of my very good friends, he's a memorabilia collector. He went out to the Bronx when the last All-Star game that was in old Yankee Stadium. So this might have been
2008.
2008. Yeah. So he was out there, was at the All-Star game, and had a great time in the Bronx. I was a little worried for him too, because it's the Bronx and he's like a dorky white dude. But yeah.
And we're looking at Mitch Garver. We are back from the break, and let's take a look and see if he can extend some kind of a lead. The pitch, and that is a ball. Mitch Garver's batting 7th in the order.
Do you think the Storm can win the WNBA championship this year?
No, I don't see it. They got the big 3 for him with Jewel Lloyd, Nneka Gumake, and whoever else it was. But I don't know. I'm just happy for them that they have like 4 championships. A pitch, and that is a strike 2. You were saying?
Who do you think has got the best team in the league this year?
I would say it's probably still Vegas.
Vegas, yeah. Well, because what's her bucket went to the Indiana Fever.
Caitlin Clark went to the Fever. And now here's a ground ball, and that's gonna get through for a base hit. And Mitch Garver gets on base.
Good piece of hitting right there. Gets a little slider that hung right out of the front of the plate right there, and Garver deposited it into center field for a base hit. That's actually very huge, and now we just have to stay away from the DP.
Yeah, with Ty France not being there, it could help.
Now, this is a situation with Josh Rojas. Yes, I know he doubled in the third, but with a runner on first base, I would actually like to see Josh drop a bunt down the third baseline.
But is he going to? No.
No, of course not. Of course not.
Because Scott Service doesn't know how to bunt.
Probably Josh Rojas doesn't either.
Because no one's teaching him.
That's exactly right.
297, 3 home runs, and 9 RBIs.
It's like, it's like the little things that you can do to manufacture a run. And it's just right. That's the thing. Like when you watch Baltimore in the last series, they do that well. Their ability to manufacture runs. It seems to elude the Mariners. Although last night was definitely an exhibition in small ball. But
they didn't need a home run to do that. The pitch, and that is fouled, and that's going to be still going to be 0-2. Let's take a look and see where Schmidt is at. He's at 85 pitches.
Didn't Dahmer hit one last night?
Dom did hit one last night.
Yeah.
Yep, he hit one.
Yeah, I call him Dahmer, not Dahmer.
The pitch. And that frame job did not work out. And thankfully the umpire did not call it, because if he did, that would have been
that ball was literally a foot off the plate into the right-hand batter's box. That would have been something.
1-2.
He called that straight.
And that is outside for ball 2. 2-2. Schmidt is really struggling now to find that strike, because I think those other strikes were just by foul balls.
That girl is a dime piece.
And we're looking at the 2-2. And a swing and a miss, strike 3, and down goes Rojas. Now you got Dylan Moore, and can Dylan Moore do it again? I have my doubts, but you never know. Dylan Moore smacked the 2-run home run.
I would like to see a nice little gap shot right here.
Dylan Moore's like, yeah, high five, slap hands. Adding 9th in the order.
Does New York still have a WNBA team? Are the Liberty still a thing?
They're still a thing, yeah. The New York Liberty still a thing, owned by James Gold.
What about the Connecticut team?
They're still there. The 1-0-1, and that is popped up, and that is going to be well out of play.
Chicago still has a team?
Chicago Sky still has a team.
What about the Minnesota Lynx? Are they a thing?
Still around, yep. And the WNBA is expanding 2 teams. I'm very curious how they were able to pull that off, considering that the league still has yet to turn a profit to this day. And that the NBA is not exactly... They're profitable, but I don't think they're profitable as they were back then. The pitch, and that is inside for a ball.
That's the thing. It's like, to me, there was really only like 3 ladies that really put that league on the map, and that was, I think Sue Bird was definitely one of those players.
Sue Bird, Lauren Jackson, and the 1-2, and I would say not even Lisa Leslie. She didn't even put him on the map.
It was Sue Bird, the girl that was from Connecticut, who played in Phoenix.
Diana Taurasi. It was Taurasi. It was the 2 UConn stars, and Lauren Jackson put it on the map, because before that, literally nobody cared, except maybe Tina Thompson.
I was gonna say Sue Bird, Diana Taurasi, and now Caitlin Clark. I think Caitlin Clark is going to be a star. That girl can score at will. She's Larry Bird. But I will say that, Lauren Jackson definitely.
We're looking at J.P. Crawford, the pitch, and that is a strike, which is sad, because after Mitch Garver gets a hit, nothing after that. And we're looking at the 0-1. And now here is the pitch. And now here's a ground ball, and that's going to get right through for a base hit. Now you got runners on first and second with Julio Rodriguez. Julio, this is your opportunity. And you don't have to hit a home run. Just hit something in the gap, and you'll score in Mitch Garver.
And that is quintessential JP Crawford, just taking exactly what a pitcher is willing to give you and go the other way. That's what makes JP so valuable, because, yes, he can turn on one and pop one out too. But generally speaking, his game isn't power. It's not slugging. It's using the entire field and putting the ball in play. And that's that's what you want to see from J.P. Crawford right there. And it
And
looks
I think Aaron Boone is coming out, and I think he has seen enough.
Yeah, it's looking like he's at what 94 pitches right here. It's going to be interesting to see if they stick with him right here, because Julio will chase the sweeper. Right?
He is a chaser. But it looks like he's not going to pull him out. It looks like Aaron Boone's like, hey, just pitch a sweeper. You're good.
Yeah.
Aaron Boone, the brother of Brett Boone.
Yep. Brett's a good guy. I know Brett quite well. The 2003, it was rumored that the Mariners were all in on Aaron Boone.
Aaron Boone, yep, to replace Jeff Cirillo.
And apparently the rumor was that they were asking for a top prospect and I think they were looking for either Jeff Nelson or what's his ass, Arthur Rhodes, and the Mariners said no. And
ironically, they traded Nelson anyway.
Right, and so what ended up happening was he ends up with the Yankees, and of course you remember the Game 7. Aaron
Boone hits that home run. Yeah, Brett Boone's on the press box going,
yep. And
my brother's going to the World Series. I'm not. F me.
Yeah, and of course Julio swings through another sweeper right there, and he hits Tim Wakefield's knuckleball and puts him in the World Series.
And that's an 0-2. Julio he's just fooling himself at this point. Schmidt did not fool him. Julio fooled himself.
That would have been sweet had the Mariners gotten Aaron Boone. I don't know if they get to the playoffs even with Aaron Boone.
No, they do, because their bats were lacking. Their bullpen was there. Their starting pitching was there. It was they needed that bat.
Do you think Aaron Boone literally changes the dynamic of that 03 lineup?
He does, because you got Brett Boone and Aaron Boone all together. Like we were talking.
You would think there would have been some brotherly love?
I think there would have been.
Yeah.
And it would have been national news too.
Yeah, you still had Edgar
1-2.
You still had Dan Wilson.
And that is a ball. There was a little bit of confusion going on. So who was that top prospect? Were they asking for like Bucky or Asdrubal Cabrera if he was still around, or Felix? If it was, I think they might have asked for Felix then. If it was top prospect,
probably.
That's why they didn't do it. Felix was the deal breaker.
I just heard that it was their
2-2.
top prospect and one of either
Jeff Nelson or Arthur Rhodes.
Arthur Rhodes, yeah.
If it was Felix, no. Felix was probably the deal breaker.
Yeah. They wanted Seattle's top prospect. And
because Mariners barely got.
And if it was here's the crazy thing, is if it was just for a package of prospects, they would have done it. They just didn't want to trade anybody off their 25. Because if you remember, that was still in the Pat Gillick era, and Gillick was not about developing a farm system.
No, he didn't. He just wanted to win now.
He was there to win a World Series, yeah.
And we're looking at a 3-2 for Julio. And now here's a chopper, and yep, that's going to be an out right there. And that's going to retire the side as we go to the bottom of the fifth. It is still 2-0 Mariners, but I don't know if that's going to last forever. But I remember when I was going to summer school with one of my new best friends, who is now my best friend. Man, what was it? We were just listening on the radio on the way to school. And then it was like, Jeff Nelson just got traded to the Yankees. I was like, what? No!
So right now, the all-time record for team strikeouts in a single season belongs to the Minnesota Twins, who set a major league record for the most strikeouts with 1,654. So that's a big number. Do I think the Mariners can break that record in
They
a season?
can. They most certainly can. With the way pitching happens in this dynamic of baseball, it very much could happen.
Yeah, I would think so. I would think that the Mariners
top prospects 2003.
And the crazy thing was that there was a couple things to consider because the Mariners top brass did not want to add payroll, but I believe, Aaron Boone was not making a lot of money in 2003. So it wasn't an issue of trying to offset salary by trading one of their relievers to do it. I think really what it was that Cincinnati was asking a lot.
Oh, are you ready? So the top prospects, top 5 were Rafael Soriano, who was a pitcher at that point. Chris Snelling was still considered one of their top prospects. Jose Lopez, Shin-Soo Choo. So if Felix was not in that radar, then maybe they should have. Yeah, you're right. If it was just as long as it wasn't Jeff Nelson, Arthur Rhodes, they would have done it in a heartbeat.
Yeah, they would have had no problem trading Soriano and Shin-Soo Choo.
Do you have a source of that? Because I could make a video like when the Mariners almost traded for almost got Aaron Boone and Brett Boone together.
I do.
I could use that.
I'm not going to put it on a YouTube broadcast, so yeah.
Oh, so I can't use that source for my own video?
No, what I'm saying is right now as we speak, I will not put it out on the airwaves.
Oh, of course not. Just do it. Just message it to me so I could, because I would love to, maybe for a Mariners nostalgic trade deadline special video. That could be a video to post out. As Brian Woo's on an 0-2, here's the pitch to Austin Wells. Swing and a miss, strike 3. And he mindlessly just whiffed at that one. And we got one down, and that's strikeout number 6 for Brian Woo.
And I would actually call that person up and ask before I drop his name.
Yeah, of course. Because that would be some juicy thing of man, the Mariners could have gotten Aaron Boone as long as he traded Chris Snelling and Arthur Rhodes.
Well, it is a, even though I'm not necessarily in the media anymore, technically speaking, you don't give up names of your sources. So
we got Tiana Pilato. Let's Seattle Mariners. Maybe it's meant to say let's go Seattle Mariners. And Tiana, you are new to this. Donate to the channel. Subscribe. As we got
Get off your wallet, Tiana. Get off your wallet and subscribe. Don't think about it. Just do it. It's only $5.
And we got strike 2 on Torres. It's $2 or $5. Either way.
What would you spend that $5 on? Starbucks?
Ew.
Or that's what I'm saying. It's you can make coffee at your house. You don't need to spend the $5 on a cup.
$2. And that is popped up, and that should be more than playable. Looks like there's a little bit of a miscommunication, and Julio catches it. He's like, no, I got it.
So let's see. Julio needed to be benched for 3 games last month. You know what? I'll co-sign on that as well too. That's the thing that I don't think Scott Service actually has the power to do. Bench a superstar, hold them accountable for their terrible play. I think that actually comes from the
Julio
top guy.
was never a clutch. That's all I'm going to say. Off of what Zafori is saying, Julio was never a clutch player.
I think that decision doesn't reside with Scott Service. I think that resides with Jerry DiPoto, which is why you'll never see
John Stanton at the very top.
Which is why you'll never see Julio be held accountable.
Because he's the golden child of this team, which is
he's
not good.
He's the face of the franchise. Imagine what kind of press that would give the Mariners if they benched their golden boy.
Don't forget what if they benched Ken Griffey Jr.
Yeah, but Junior never had Junior
problems.
Junior was
consistent, and he had Lou Piniella to keep him in check.
Yeah, Lou also gave him cover as well too. But Junior was never that type.
Too. Now here's a line drive, and that is going to be is fouled.
Yeah, but Junior was clutch. Period. Point blank end discussion. Which was funny when Julio came up in the comparisons, when Mariner fans were making the Junior comparison, I was like, you guys are high. You guys are smoking something because he is not Junior.
He's not Junior. As Waldo Cabrera. And
you're
that is going to be outside for a ball. You're disrespecting him.
I like Julio, but he's not Junior.
No.
Like Junior progressively got better every single season, and you noticed it every single year. And Julio continues to have terrible starts to his season.
And it's still carrying on.
Yeah.
He may not even hit 20 home runs this season.
I mean, no, Julio will. Like, you know what's going to happen come June. He'll come alive, and he'll get red hot in July and August.
Now, here's a ground ball right to Ty France to Brian Wu. And that's another 1-2-3 inning for Brian Wu. We go to the top of the 6th. It is still 2-0.
I think Julio finishes anywhere between 19 and 24 home runs this year. Like, I think he'll. I think you're right, Dirty Baseball. He's only 23, but he's not Junior. Junior was a better defender. Junior was the better hitter. But that's the thing. It's like Julio is good. He's just he's still learning how to play Major League Baseball. And though like the worst thing that happened with Julio Rodriguez is when the Mariners gave him that freaky extension, and they did it early. I understand why the Mariners did it, but they didn't need to do it when they did. All they had to do was just wait until like year 2, year 3 before making that move. I think what it did was it put unnecessary pressure on his shoulders, because now all of a sudden you have to justify that contract. And it puts him in a position where maybe he presses a little too much.
Yeah, that's why he's swinging so much.
Yeah, like he's trying to swing for the fences every single time he's at the plate. And that's just not, to be honest with you, that's just not how you play baseball.
It really isn't.
I will say that, Dirty Baseball says he could be like Mike Trout soon. Yeah, that's true. Also, he also could be playing with Mike Trout soon. Word is out of Anaheim that looks like the Angels might actually shop Mike Trout.
Only hesitation with Trout, of course, is he still has injury problems all over the place. That's the only hesitation of getting Mike Trout. But either way, the Angels are still going to try to get a ransom out of him.
Yeah, but I mean, I would love to have Mike Trout as your primary DH and occasional outfielder. You know what I mean? You can spell.
I wouldn't mind at all, but just depends how much would be given up, because I'm seeing it right off the bat. They're at least going to ask for like Cole Young.
Oh yeah.
Means Celestine. They're at least going to ask for those big names, guaranteed.
First, it's not going to happen for 2 reasons. Number one, the Mariners aren't going to trade in division with the Angels, and also that the history between Jerry Dipoto and the Angels, it just will not happen.
I don't think they've ever traded with each other since Jerry Dipoto was a GM.
No. There is bad blood between Artie Moreno and Jerry Dipoto. And it's also
that's the reason he left.
And it's all on Marino too, because he gave Mike Scioscia all the power. So Dipoto and Scioscia could not get on the same page, obviously.
Kyle Tucker and Alvarez had a back-to-back home run job, and we're looking at the 1-1. And now here is the pitch, and it's a swing and a miss, and that's gonna be strike 2. And speak of Kyle Tucker, there was like some kind of rumors that Mariners were interested in him. I don't buy it, because look at Houston. They're now back in their winning ways. If they're in their losing ways, maybe. But the thing is, trading within a divisional thing doesn't happen, just unless you're Jerry Dipoto trading Kendall Graveman away.
Yeah, I mean, there's a history of the Mariners and the Astros making deals in season, but it would be first and foremost, what are you giving up for him? That's number one. And are you going to be comfortable with those prospects being in Astros uniforms within?
And now here's a ground ball to the first baseman, fair, and that is barely an out. Ooh. But I did love the hustle from Luke Raley.
Ooh, that kind of looked.
I wonder if that's challengeable.
Ooh, that kind of looked.
Luke Raley is fast for a big dude. Just out.
I'm with Zavori. That does seem pretty right. That seems like Trout would end up in Atlanta. That seems about right.
Or LA. They could use another DH. Or no, that's already Ohtani.
Well, the Angels will never trade with the Dodgers. That's a non-starter. That's their
Angels and Yankees?
No, Angels, Dodgers.
I know, but Angels and Yankees?
I would probably assume that if the Angels make the decision to let Mike Trout leave, he's probably going to end up in a National League team.
Man, we're looking at the 1-0.
Yeah.
And here's the pitch. And that is outside for a ball on the check swing. And we're looking at the 2-0.
Watch Mike Trout end up in Philly or Atlanta. That sounds about right.
Yeah, the Angels are just an absolute mess until Artie Moreno's out. Yeah, 2-0. And that is going to be a ground ball right to the third baseman. Bobbled, but I think that's going to be a foul ball anyway.
Well, that was they went so far away from what made them successful in 2002 when they won the World Series. It was a young team that they developed with the right veteran leadership guys like Kevin Appier. But for the most part, then once they got some of that success, they spent
ground
a lot
ball
of money.
foul. They did.
Albert Pujols, Josh Hamilton,
Torrey Hunter, C.J. Wilson.
C.J. Wilson, yeah. I mean,
they all failed. Pujols was okay, but he wasn't Cardinals Pujols.
No. And I think that's the risk of giving out crazy contracts like that is, you have to understand that, especially on 8 to 10 year deals, you're only signing them for like 3 years, really, because that's probably going to be the extent of whatever their prime is left, and then those contracts end up becoming albatrosses. So the idea is, if you're going to do that, the goal should be the World Series within 3 years, and they just could not pitch the baseball.
I think that's why Jerry Dipoto wanted out, because he was tired of giving all these insane contracts. He probably didn't agree with it, but Artie's like, no, you're doing this. Now, don't get me wrong. He writes the checks, but he's at least passionate in some capacity, but he's just not good at it. 3-2. And that is popped up and fouled.
Artie Moreno put too much faith in Mike Scioscia. Mike Scioscia wanted certain players, and of course, that was the big problem with Jerry Dipoto, because he wasn't the boss. Mike Scioscia would say, hey, I want Josh Hamilton. He's available. Let's go get him. And Artie Moreno was like, yeah, let's go get Josh Hamilton. And Jerry Dipoto is like, that dude's a drug addict, and he's got issues.
3-2. And strike 3 called, and down goes Cal Raleigh. He's not been having a good game today. And we got 2 down for the Mariners.
So here's Dom Canzone batting 5th in the order tonight. Here's the pitch. Low.
You've already spoiled it, huh? So we got a ball 1, huh?
I didn't say that.
You said down low ball. Now here's the pitch. And that is outside for a ball. And that's going to be 0-1 for Dom Canzone. Canzone is 0 for 1 with a walk in the 4th, though. So at least he's got a walk. And,
this is kind of an interesting at-bat, because I do think Canzone does actually play well against lefties. It's just going to be an issue of will there be a cutter that hangs out
later. Dirty baseball. Thanks for being here.
Out over the plate, and he can hit lefties, man.
1-1, and that's going to be low for a ball. 2-1.
Take it the other way.
We're looking at a 2-1 for Dom Canzone. Gonzalez with 15 pitches. Mariners are at least making them work. Now here's the 2-1. Now here is a fly ball to deep left field and caught. Yeah, I did it again.
Good at bat, though.
It was a good at bat, and we are going to retire the side. Now it's just hoping that Brian Wu is still pitching, because he's only had 62 pitches in 5 innings. He's got to go another round.
This is going to be a situation where if he's pitch count healthy, you're probably going to see him in the 7th as well too, as he should, because the Mariners need a short bullpen night tonight.
It really does, because we still got 2 more games in this Yankees series. Got 3 games in the Nationals. I don't even know if you even have a day off on Monday. No, you don't. You don't have a day off until.
What you want is a at least 2 more runs so you can literally just go Stanek inspired. You don't have to use Munoz tonight. But that being said, if Woo's able to go 7, it puts him in a position where then, you would have to use Munoz on back-to-back nights. But,
Mariners don't have a day off until June 3rd.
Right. So it's wow. But it is it's essential that you get the most out of Brian Wu and put them in a situation where you're only pitching 2 innings out of the bullpen tonight.
Exactly. Fact or fiction?
So,
Atlanta wins at least 3 more World Series before their major league stars are out of club control in 2034. I'd say at least 1.
I think it's going to be between now and 2034, 3 more World Series wins. I'll say fact. They have the talent. They have a very good GM. They draft well. They develop well, and they're not afraid. They're not afraid to swing the big trade or pay the money when needed. So it's going to be who's got the better shot between now and then between Atlanta, LA, and Philly, because that's
and they're not afraid of doing this.
Right.
The tomahawk.
Between now and 2034, it's not out of the realm of possibility if Atlanta wins a World Series and then 3 years later they win another one.
And now we got a strike for Trent Grisham.
They suck in the playoffs.
0-1. Bernie Williams is in the ball game.
So do the Dodgers. They're not exactly great in the playoffs either.
0-1. And that's going to be an 0-2. And by the way, we got Brian Wu still in this game. So
pitching well in the 6th, going into the 6th inning. They're still showing the great Bernie Williams, center fielder of the New York Yankees, former center fielder, played until 2006, the 0-2. And that is going to be outside for a ball, 1-2. Yeah, that's actually kind of wild to think the Yankees haven't won a World Series since 2009.
It really is wild.
That is pretty wild.
But they did have some bad years, and the thing is, actually, it's not really that wild because the Yankees have not been run well for quite a bit, because after George Steinbrenner, the pitch, and that's going to be a 2-2. But what's even more crazy is Brian Cashman's still their general manager.
Well, it's the one thing that I wouldn't say they haven't been ran well. What it is, they're not, Hal Steinbrenner is not George Steinbrenner, so he's not going to go out there and just sign every star free agent available.
Well, even then, George Steinbrenner didn't exactly go for free agents either. His Yankees dynasty team was actually built mostly on the farm. Oh, Bernie Williams, Derek Jeter, Mariano.
I'm talking post 2000, where you had.
He actually tried, 3-2. And now here's a ground ball, throw to first in time.
Mike Mussina, Randy Johnson, they tried.
They tried to buy out. 2004 was their closest buyout.
Yeah, I was happy when the Florida Marlins beat the Yankees in 2003. I was too. That was a good Marlins team. That was a very good Marlins team.
That just came out of nowhere too, and then they disappeared again.
Oh, do you know who I forgot was on that team? The D Train, man. Dontrell Willis was on that team.
Yeah, that weird windup that actually cost his body.
And a rookie, Miguel Cabrera.
Miguel Cabrera hit the home run off of Roger Clemens. A 20-year-old kid beating up Roger Clemens.
Do you know who their starting catcher was that year? Florida?
Ivan Rodriguez.
Correct. His 1 year.
Ivan was on fire in that playoffs.
They thought he was over the hill, so he takes a 1 year, show me deal with the Marlins, has an amazing season, and then he signs the long-term deal in Detroit the following offseason.
Good old Pudge. We all miss Pudge.
And he helps the Tigers get to a World Series in 2006.
And now here's the 0-2 pitch. And that is going to be a ball. We're looking at a 1-2 right now.
And it's amazing, the 2 decades of futility that the Mariners had, not even getting to the playoffs, and the Tigers of all teams, have two World Series appearances in that same time.
1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Down goes Volpe, and that's going to be strikeout number 7 for Brian Wu.
Yeah, he's dealing tonight, man. Yeah. It's just amazing. I mean, the Colorado Rockies have been to a World Series. The Nationals won a World Series. It's even crazy.
Pudge Rodriguez is from Puerto Rico, and his 2003 season hit 16 home runs, 85 RBIs, 297, 369 OBP. The pitch, and that is a strike.
Given their
Pudge used to kill us in Texas when he was a Texas Ranger.
Do you know who also killed us? Well, he was a Texas Ranger. Juan Gonzalez.
Yeah.
Given their
0-1.
Also, what's his bucket? First baseman Rafael Palmeiro.
He always killed the Mariners, and he loved it. He loved T-Mobile Park / Safeco.
Do you know who also torched the Mariners pretty well while he was in Texas?
Alex Rodriguez.
Well, yes, but I was going to say Will Clark.
1-1. Will Clark, even though it was like for a short period of time.
Yeah, he was. Will Thrill was a bad man. Given their horrific postseason history, Atlanta does not win a single World. No, that's fiction. Atlanta can win a couple. I don't like.
We're looking at a 1-2 for Juan Soto.
Are you
He struck out
surprised?
twice.
Are you surprised that the way the Diamondbacks are playing this year? Are you surprised by that?
Just a little bit.
Yeah, I am.
A
too.
1-2.
I thought they had a great offseason. I thought
They might sell. And they were spending money too.
Yeah, that was the shocker. They brought in Erod.
Eugenio Suarez, and he's doing absolutely dog nothing.
Yeah, Suarez. They re-signed their left
The
fielder.
2-2. And now here's a fly ball to deep right field, center field. And Julio is there. He makes the catch, and that's going to be out number 3. And Brian Wu gets out of another inning. 1-2-3. I wonder how many batters he's retired in a row. Probably not that much. But I'm going to look up Eugenio Suarez. He has 3 home runs, batting .212. He is struck out 52 times. So this is like the Eugenio Suarez that we know and love. And his OBP is .279.
Yeah, he had a good start to the season, and that was pretty much it. Oh, by the way, here's a couple more Mariner killers that the Rangers used to employ. Ready for this?
Rusty Greer.
Rusty Greer definitely was a Mariner killer, but how about Mickey Tettleton?
95. He prevented the division.
Mickey. Yeah, I know.
Dave Valley was in Texas for a split second.
Well. Mark McLemore was on that 96 Rangers team. Aaron
Steely was a Ranger too.
Aaron Steely, Mr. I can't pitch in the postseason.
Nope. And yet Lou Piniella ignored that.
Yeah. Especially in 2001 against the Yankees, there was, so in 95 when he had to turn to Bob Wolcott in game 1 of the ALCS, just because of the way that division series played out, he had no choice but to do it. And it was a little bit different situation in 2001, but the Mariners had a young arm by the name of Joel Pinheiro.
And he was on fire.
And it would have been in that game, I want to say game 4 in the Bronx.
Game 4 was Paul Abbott, and he was actually pitching a no-hitter, and Lou Piniella still pulled him out. Because he was walking a ton, but he still got out of it.
So it was either game 3 or 5. I can't remember which one.
It was game 5 when they pitched Seeley, and it was like, at least pitch Pinheiro. You got nothing to lose at that point.
Right, and that's the thing. It's like, sometimes you have to shake things up and go with a hot hand. And, a guy like Pinheiro probably would have pitched with blinders on. You know what I mean? What's the word I'm looking for?
Dennis Santana's on the mound.
Unaware
and the Yankees would have been like, who the hell is this guy?
Right. Unaware of the scope of the
and the Yankees already killed Seeley when he was a Ranger.
Yeah. And it's, and Seeley, there you go. Ooh, there you go.
1-0. Yeah.
Boom!
Now you just ruined it for me because I'm not even there yet.
Just hold your horses.
And now here is the 1-0. And now here is a fly ball to deep left field. And that is gone. That is now 3-0 on a Ty France home run. And that just got out real quickly.
That's insurance, baby.
That's the insurance that we need. And that was just beautifully hit. And Ty France has actually been much more patient. When you're more patient, you're going to get hits like those once in a while. I was hoping you tricked me. I was hoping that he swung and missed so you could say, haha, gotcha.
I wouldn't do that to you.
You've done it before. And that's 9 RBIs in the last 13 games for Ty France. And now here is Mitch Garver up to the plate. And that is up high for a ball. Mariners are 24-7 when scoring 3+ runs. So you would think that the Mariners have a great opportunity to get this win. And now Mitch Garver is working on a 1-0 so far. And now here is the pitch.
Ooh.
And now here's a fly ball to deep left field. Is that going to be enough? It is off the wall. And Mitch Garver, is he going to second base? And he does get to second base with a double.
And now we have back-to-back extra base hits. And now we have another runner in scoring position. And this is the time of the ball game where you want to step on New York's throat right now. Take advantage.
Really do.
Take advantage and put this game away.
Mitch Garver almost had that. That could have been a home run, but it just was falling short.
If they're able to bring Garver in, that means you don't have to use Munoz on back-to-back days.
You don't. The pitch. And Josh Rojas check swings. Did he go?
You can bring Wu out for the 7th. And
he did go.
Yep. Bring Wu out for the 7th and
bring out Wu. Tonight. Bring out the Wu man. Woohoo! And now we're looking at the 0-1 for Josh Rojas. He's batting .295 with 3 home runs. He's doing just as much as Eugenio Suarez, if not better. The pitch. And that is going to be a pop-up to left field. And that's just falling down. And that's going to be 1 down. And now we got Dylan Moore up to the plate. And do you think at this point in his career, does Dylan Moore belong in the same league as the likes of Mark McLemore, Rich Amaral, and Willie Bloomquist?
Yes. Well, first and foremost, let's take Willie Bloomquist out of that conversation because Willie was trash. And Rich Amaral was solid, but
the pitch, and that is fouled, or I think it was fouled.
The thing that you can compare with McLemore is the fact that, like McLemore, Demo plays a lot of positions on the diamond. You can he's a plug and play guy, which is his value. And like McLemore, he can also hit the fastball.
He can play anything, yeah.
Yeah, he hits the fastball extremely well. The thing that separates Demo from McLemore is the fact that Demo has power. He hits for power, which is something McLemore didn't have. The only thing McLemore had on Demo was the fact that Mac actually had speed.
Speed and defense.
He had very good speed and defense. Demo's got defense, but he doesn't have that next level speed. But I actually think that for the Mariners, for what they both provided for the Mariners, I think Demo is the better player. Rich Amaral really could only play a couple positions, and he didn't have the bat.
2-0. And now here's a line drive, base hit, and that's not going to score Mitch Garver. He is going to come around and the throw to the plate, and it is cut off by the pitcher. And now it's a 4-0 lead with a Dylan Moore RBI single.
Yep, and Dylan he gets a looks like a change up in, but it hangs over the plate, and he puts it right up the middle for a base hit. And all of a sudden now the Mariners have scored 2, and this is absolutely a nails base hit right there.
Dylan Moore just continues to show the value, and we've been saying it that had Dylan Moore been healthy in 2023, Mariners for sure would have squeaked out at least 2 wins to make the playoffs for sure. But you never know. But it would have been a good chance to throw to first and not in time.
Yeah, if Yes, I will double down on that and say that if Demo was healthy, but also if Ty had been
is at least doing 2024 Ty.
Like that's 2022 Ty. Yeah, they probably make the playoffs last year.
They win the freaking World Series if those two happen. I think they do. I think they beat Arizona because everyone else in the first round flamed out. Baltimore flamed out.
Well, the reason why I say no is because you had to get through Texas, and I don't think the Mariners get through Texas in the postseason.
Texas was just too much on fire, I guess.
Yeah, Texas was.
That was too perfect of a team.
You like in a 7-game series, you have to face Scherzer twice in a 7-game series.
Scherzer was out.
Was he? Yeah, he was. You're right. Yeah,
but, and DeGrom. That's why I still think maybe there still would have been a shot, but their bats would have been difficult to stop. The 2-0 and swing and a miss, strike one. But maybe there'll be a video where I can say, is Dylan Moore the best utility player in Mariners history? Because you're going to be comparing him with Rich Amaral and Mark McLemore. And we're looking at the 2-1 for J.P. Crawford. The throw to first, not in time. But what I liked about Amaral was he was a fantastic outfielder. And when he hit, he was actually useful. Like, he actually provided value. You couldn't use him as an everyday guy, but when he was up on the plate, he actually produced.
Don't get me wrong, man. I loved Rich Amaral.
He's still my favorite utility player, even though he wasn't really. He was more of an outfielder.
My thing was that he was limited defensively. The guy, my favorite bench player in Mariner history was Doug Strange. That guy,
clutch.
That guy was clutch.
Clutch home run against Texas and a clutch walk to bring in A-Rod.
I was actually kind of a fan of Alex Diaz. You remember Alex Diaz?
Yeah, center fielder who took over for Griffey.
Couldn't hit a lick, but I liked his defense.
Oh, looks like we got a balk, or now Dylan Moore's going to second base.
Yeah, that was a balk right there. Interesting.
What's interesting about Amaral, too, was he was a career 276 hitter.
Yeah.
So his bat was very underrated.
Rich, the thing about Rich is he didn't have the power like Dylan Moore.
The pitch.
So he was a singles and doubles guy. But the thing about it is that you hit it right on the head. He just wasn't an everyday guy. But the thing about Rich was that he was very proficient in the infield, second base, third base at times, and at times in the outfield as well too. But he was limited.
He was, but he had his role.
Diaz, when Junior broke his wrist or broke his hamate bone in '95,
it was his wrist.
It was his hamate bone. Alex Diaz
2-2
filled in,
and now that is a foul ball.
Do you remember Darren Bragg?
Yes, and Lou Piniella was not happy about that trade with Jamie Moyer. He wanted to keep Darren Bragg.
Yeah, he liked Darren Bragg. He wasn't a fan of he wasn't a fan of the Eric Hansen, Brett Boone deal that brought Dan Wilson to Seattle. He wasn't,
and the Mariners got insanely lucky with that 2-2. And now here is a fly ball that's not going to really go anywhere, and that makes the catch. And Dylan Moore is going to have to stay. Bucky Jacobson. We were just talking about Bucky Jacobson and Steven Diaz. I have a video for you about Bucky Jacobson.
Well, yes, Mike Cameron took over for Ken Griffey Jr. when Jr. was traded to Cincinnati. Yes, that is true. But I was talking about in 1995, on May 26, 1995, when Jr. made the catch in right center field and basically shattered his right wrist. Alex Diaz took over until Jr. came back in August.
Defense was pretty much Jr. And here is a ground ball, and that's not going to do it. Throw to first, and it's in time. But we go to the bottom of the 7th. It is stretch time. If you guys are ready to get up on your feet, it is time for the 7th inning stretch, and it's time to take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd.
Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever get back.
So let's root for the Mariners. If they don't win, it's a shame. It would be because Brian Woo's on fire and Dylan Moore has contributed 3 runs.
For it's uno, dos, tres strikes, you're out at the
old ball
game.
Louis. Oh no.
We
gotta go now. Yeah. So wait, Root Sports collapse. What?
Oh yeah, dude. Root Sports is terrible. Just a terrible.
Big mistake.
I hate the fact that buy me some hollow points and high capacity mags. Amen, man. Praise the Lord and pass the ammunition, William Cook. They are the king of Mariners fluff and Mariners spin. It is disgusting how they try to make a positive in some of the worst moments. It's
they're like, well, at least the pitcher he got 15 pitches out of striking out 3 batters.
Yeah, the bullpen collapsed and they gave up 10 runs. But you know what, though? The Mariners did rally back and scored 5 runs. So, hey now.
No, they did not do it. I think they pulled out Brian Woo. They did it.
This is Scott Service at his best, pulling him with 77 pitches. And, he's only given up 2 hits through 6, and it made absolutely no sense. Even if he has 15 pitches in an inning, he still's not even going to touch 90 at the point, 95 at the point. But yeah, it's like they're being extremely cautious. It makes absolutely no sense. And so now they're going with Gabe Spire, which I guess is fine. But that being said, though,
well, I just got to do this. This is my reaction on pulling Brian Woo after just 77 pitches. No! And by the way, it's the
Luke Skywalker, really?
It's the anniversary of The Empire Strikes Back on May 21st, 1980, and it is also the 19th anniversary since I filmed a really stupid, scary movie for my middle school project.
I think it's
where I was murdered by a Grim Reaper.
Yeah, I don't think it's a good idea at all. If you have a hot hand, you stick with your hot hand. And by the way, allowing him to pitch 10 to 15 more pitchers isn't going to put him in any more risk for an injury. So,
no. And I think, if anything, this could be more risky because now his arm's going to be less conditioned. It's already going to be less conditioned. That's how I see it.
But now it's like you're turning it over to a bullpen that's been suspect at best lately.
It only seemed like a matter of time because with no Brash and Santos, the other guys were going to get exposed, and getting rid of Tyson Miller made it worse too.
Yeah. But at least they're not going to Cody Bolton or Eduardo Bizardo or the other lefty with a goofy name. Why can't I think of his name right now?
The pitch,
the other guy,
and that is a ball.
Who's the other lefty that they use? Kirby Snead. There you go.
Kirby Snead. He's not doing that great either. The 1-0 and a swing and a miss. Nice. Strike 1. This is like George Kirby a couple weeks ago all over again. I don't blame you for saying that, Kevin. I think Brian Woo should have gotten one more inning just to see what he can do because he really should prove that he needs to have a longevity.
But Scott Service is thinking, well, now that the Mariners added 2 runs in that inning, and they're up by 4, so there's no need to bring him out there at that point.
But now he's just going to burn up his bullpen.
Yeah,
the pitch, and that is a strike. 2-2,
and that's my problem without a day off. Without a day off for a while, the one thing you wanted was a short a short stint from your bullpen tonight, a two inning type of bullpen
2-2.
night.
And look at that. Look what's happening. It's a 3-2.
And what happens? What happens if
the Yankees come back?
Well, or Spire gives up a run.
Yeah, and then Scott Service is going to say, well, Brian Wu was he had a little injury problem. BS.
Obviously, being up 4 last night didn't mean anything.
Didn't mean anything. So I think pulling Brian Wu was not ideal. And that's what he does. He pulls out the hot hand too much and too early.
He just wants guys available in August and September. And even in August, September, he'll still continue to do the same thing.
He did it in the playoffs with Logan Gilbert after 84 pitches.
The funny thing is, it's like that's what he says. Like he wants to make sure that there's going to be guys available in August, September, but he continues to do the same things even down the stretch.
He'll do it in the World Series, 3-2. And that is ball 4, take your base, and Aaron Judge gets on base with a walk.
Yeah, I'm not a Scott Service guy. I don't like the way he deploys his bullpen. I don't like his lineups. I don't think he is a championship winning.
He's not.
I don't think he will lead this team to a title. There's a reason why this team continues to underachieve.
Yes, with this talent. Even 2016 through 18, they should have squeaked in one playoff run out of that.
Yeah, for sure.
2016 should have been their run.
Especially, even in 2018, they had a very good offense in 2018. And they just couldn't pitch. The crazy thing is, they've been here for 9 years now, and only one playoff appearance to show for it. It's not going to cut it. And they're
looking for a bunting effort, and that's going to be strike 2. I would think that's strike 2. No, they're calling it a ball.
I look at this team with the talent that it has, and this team definitely has talent. And their starting pitching is good enough to win a World Series.
1-1, and that is foul ball, strike 2.
And this team continues to play down to its opponents, and
Can we hire Girardi already? I never liked Girardi that much.
Joe Girardi. No, what you do is you make a phone call to a guy by the name of Terry Francona, and you ask him to come back. I know he's retired, but you
swing and a miss, strike 3.
You have him
down
come
goes
back on
Verdugo. I want Joe Madden.
Yeah.
By the way, Joe Madden is a trigger word for Mariners Mojo YouTube channel.
Terry Francona was the championship-winning manager in Boston. Took the Indians to a World Series. The dude just knows how to press all the right buttons.
Curse.
Yeah, he broke the curse in Boston.
He even stepped up and argued with the umpire, saying, "Hey, A-Rod slapped the ball away from Bronson Arroyo."
You bring him in on a 2-year deal, and just say, "Hey, dude, let's win a World Series and let's get it done." I guarantee
now we're looking
you
at the 1-0, and that is a strike, and that's going to be a 1-1 count.
Seattle at least makes deep runs. Let's get Lou out of retirement.
Yeah. Let him enjoy his weight loss.
I don't think Lou is motivated to come back to
1-1.
The current state of Major League Baseball, the way it is right now.
No, he'd be canceled.
No, it's not that. It's just the game is different now.
The game's different. Like Jim Leland would not want to manage today either. Remember when Jim Leland had the balls to get in Barry Bonds' face?
Man, Jim Leland.
You don't F with me. Don't F with me.
Yeah.
1-2.
Jim Leland in Detroit was a dog. He was such
Jim
a dog.
Leland with the Pirates too, and they were asking Barry Bonds, "Hey, Barry Bonds, did you feel bullied by that?" "No, I was being a dumbass."
Tell you what, man,
I deserved it.
Leland was a chain smoking pit bull.
Jim Leland was the man. 97 World Series champion. I'm glad he got a World Series out of his managing career.
He was also.
Oh no! It hit him, and that's going to be a man on first and second. I said, do not pull out Brian Wu.
What was it? I believe Jim Leland won a World Series in '97 with the Marlins. I think he was the head coach. I think he was the manager in Florida in '97 when they took the Indians to 7 and beat them. So let's see. What's your take on how Harry Ford is rolling right now?
I have, oh no, here comes Scott Service, and that's the terrifying scene is when you see Scott Service making that change. He's just wasting pitchers again. And I have a tweet that is ready to go. It's going to be tweeted. Nobody saw pulling Brian Wu as an idiotic move. Oh, wait, I did. I will post it if the Mariners lose this game. Brian Wu only pitched how many innings? 77. He could have gone one more inning. Just one.
Yeah. Yep. I agree.
Just like Julio. Put in Julio at third. Just one game. Yep. And we have to say one game because we're that desperate.
Yeah, I mean, it was a mistake. Number one, it was a mistake to even to have Spire come out for the 7th when Wu still was looking very good, and now all of a sudden Spire hits a lefty, and now they got to go to the bullpen again. And so instead of having a very painless bullpen night, now all of a sudden you're dipping into the well again. What is my take on how Harry Ford is rolling right now? I'll tell you what. Batting .267 with a .415 OBP, slugging .458 with an OPS of .873, 9 doubles, 4 home runs, 14 runs batted in. His, he's got 32 Ks, but he's also walked 29 times. So Harry Ford having a very good season down in AA.
When are you guys going on Locked On? I haven't watched Locked On in a while, and
probably never. I'm not a big fan of egotistical guys, and I'm not a fan of their numbers.
Have you watched the others, like Couch GM? Have you seen that one?
Yeah.
Couch GM's got good stuff.
I like Jay's Trident podcast.
Jay's Trident.
He's
very simple.
I like the Marine Layer guy. There's a couple of guys out there that I like, but I don't like Locked On because they think that they're the YouTube authority of the Mariners, and they act like that. They got this weird air of superiority, and
because they have the big job.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of either Ty or Colby.
0-1, and that is a foul ball. And Giancarlo Stanton's in. I think he's pinch hitting.
You know what it really is? I'll tell you what it is, man. There's a lot of guys who are like married to their ideas. And they're not flexible, where somebody will come in and say, well,
0-2. And that is popped up. And is that playable for Cal Raleigh? He is there. And he makes the catch and he falls on his back. Yep. Hope he's okay. And that is 2 outs.
And I don't like people that can't just say, you know what, I stand corrected. That's
I've done that many times. I've had a lot of I stand corrected things. Like I said that Luis Urias starting against Houston was going to be a disaster, and he hits a home run. I said, well then, I stand corrected.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, man. I mean, it is what it is. I'm never married to one opinion.
Me neither. I'm married to the I don't like Scott Service opinion. I'm married to that.
Yeah, I'm not even married to that. I'm just not a fan. But that being said, I mean, if he wins a World Series, I'll be.
I'll say that he was the manager that was a part of that.
But yes, I will take that away. I am in the process of trying to collaborate with other Mariners YouTube.
I have, for me, I'm trying to get Jay Trident podcast. Oh, thank you, Mr. Diaz, for the super chat. $2. The pitch. And that is up high for a ball. 1-2. And yes, he got off of his $2. Yeah, I have a present for you for doing that. I got something just for you for giving me a donation.
Let's see.
And now we're looking at the 1-2 for Trent Thorne. Let's get him out. And that is going to be low. I'm telling you, if Brian Wu was pitching, this inning would be over by now. I mean, maybe that's a bit projecting, but I don't think 2 men would be on base. Maybe 1 would have been on base. And even then, Scott Service would be like, nah, you're out. Bye.
Scott Service was a shit catcher when he was playing.
Imagine if Scott Service went to Mike Mussina. Mike Mussina would be like, sit down. The pitch, foul ball. Because he did that to Joe Torre in a game where he tried to, like, Joe Torre was trying to pull him out in the 9th inning because he had some problems. And Mike Mussina was like, sit down. I got it. And he got out. It was genius. I like Mussina for that. It's just sad that he didn't get a World Series with the Yankees. He came in 2001 after a World Series. Then he leaves, retires, and the Yankees win a World Series. I feel bad for him for that.
Scott Service was a career 11 years in the big leagues as a backup catcher, essentially. Hit 245 with a 306 OBP. He slugged 375 with a
and
OBP.
That is a ball 3-2. Are we really going to load the bases and give up 4 runs because Scott Service just wasn't willing to give Brian Wu another inning?
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
The 3-2. And now here's a fly ball drilled to left field, and that is going to be a home run. And Scott Service, you idiot, you should have kept in Brian Wu, and now it's a 1-run ball game.
Well, good thing. By the way, good thing they got to. Good thing they got 2, but that was a fastball that was literally up. And it was a little in, but Torres got around on it and drives it out. Trent missed his location right there.
I'm not even going to blame Trent Thornton for this. I'm not blaming him. I'm putting it all.
I actually am blaming Trent Thornton because he threw the pitch. If you're going to run a fastball in, that fastball has to be in, not out over the plate.
Brian, this game should not be 4-3 right now. It really shouldn't. Oh, Christian, answer that question. Hashtag Robbie Ray versus Yordan Alvarez. That was my straw that broke the camel's back on Scott Service.
Yeah,
and I still didn't like him. I wanted him fired after 18. I think it was time for a fresh start.
So Steven Diaz says, I don't want any women advice.
Because I said I have a present for him for my $2, for the $2 he gave me. If anyone else can follow, that'd be great. And here is a fly ball to center field, and Julio makes the catch, and that will retire the side. And
so now you're in a situation where number 1A, you need to score another run in this top half right now. But then, since you've already burned through Thornton and Spire, that basically means it's Ryan Stanek and
Andres Munoz again, maybe.
Well, yeah, it's either going to be Stanek, and if Stanek gets into trouble, you're gonna have Munoz warming up, and it's gonna be an inning and a third or an inning and 2/3 save, or you have a guy like Kirby Snead if you want to go lefty in those type of situations. But now you're putting yourself in a really challenging situation because this was not supposed to be a multi-pitcher bullpen night. It was supposed to be 2 at most. And, Scott Service is quickly managing his way out of a win.
It really shouldn't be like this. And here's the thing. Blake Snell, I think you should second guess on wanting to be in Seattle, because if you were in Seattle, you would have hated Scott Service, because look what Tampa did to you. You got pulled after barely pitching anything, and after just 1 hit, they pull you, and that's why you went freaking A. And this is what my reaction on. And must I do my? Oh, and Steven Diaz, this is the token of my gratitude for giving me a donation. I very much appreciate your support, and that was for you. And they're still talking about Brian Wu because maybe the Mariners should regret for pulling him early. But Scott Service would be like, well, Brian Wu was tired, and I think he had a little problem with his arm. It was all sweaty. That's what his reasoning's going to be. Maybe they should stop dwelling about Brian Wu and just talk about the fact. And now we're looking at the pitch for Luke Raley. And now here is the pitch. And a fly ball to deep right field. And that is gone. That is a home run for Luke Raley. And he continues to hit very well. And now it's the Mariners 5 and the Yankees 3. And look at that smile by Luke Raley. What a shot by Luke. And look at the trident goes, and Luke Raley is happy. I would be happy too. That makes up for the Scott Service idiocy. Luke the nuke. Luke Raley just home run. Yes, he did. And now that's some insurance that we needed. But it really should be 5-0. And now here's Cal Raleigh up to the plate. He's on the right side, so I don't know if he's going to really get much out of it, even though he is pretty much even with the home runs. Now here's the pitch, and that is fouled. We're looking at an 0-1. He is 0 for 3 with a strikeout in the 6th. Batting .219 with 10 home runs and 25 RBIs. The pitch. And that is going to be a ball.
He certainly used the force. I'll just say that.
Of course you're going to say that. I mean, it's fitting because it's the anniversary of Empire Strikes Back, and that is a ball, or a foul ball. That's what I meant to say.
Well, no, I mean, his name is Luke, right? So in any situation, if there's a guy named Luke, he's always
1-2.
going to use the force.
And that is a 2-2 count.
No, it's not Luke the Nuke. His name is just Nuke. So he's not Luke Raley. He's
Nuke Raley.
Nuke Raley.
And we're looking at the 2-2. And here is the pitch. And that is inside for a ball. 3-2.
Whatever happened to Ebby Calvin Lelouch? Whatever happened to him?
Who would that be? I don't even know who that is.
Nuke Lelouch. Like, I wonder if he went on to have a great career with the Mets. And whatever happened to Crash Davis? Did he reach the bigs as a manager?
He did. He played for like 21 days. The pitch, and that's fouled.
No, as a manager, right? Because he hung him up. So that's why we needed Bull Durham too. And I think
now I'm like, as soon as you said Crash Davis, like, oh, I get it.
Yeah, Crash Davis. Like, did he finally reach the majors as a manager?
Who knows?
Like
maybe there needs to be a sequel for that. The 3-2.
Yeah, I would be in favor of a Bull Durham 2 at this stage. Like, maybe
might as well.
Maybe Crash Davis is winding down his career as a big league manager, never have gotten to the playoffs or a World Series. You know what I mean? Bounced around a few times in the big leagues, and now it's his last year. He's already announced it, and maybe they make a run to get into the playoffs.
But then where's the nuke?
I don't know. Maybe he's in the front office. I don't know. Maybe they're friends. I don't know. Good question.
Time. Hey, why are you shaking me off? Because I want to throw the heater. You know this guy's a first ball, fastball hitter, right? Well, he hasn't seen my heat.
I want to announce my presence with authority. Announce your presence with authority. This guy's a first pitch fastball hitter.
No, it's like, announce your first presence with what?
With what? Hey, dummy, you don't need a quadraphonic blowpunt. You need a curveball.
We're looking at a 3-2 for Cal Raleigh. And here is the pitch. And that is still fouled. But he hasn't seen my heat. All right. Give him the heat. Psst. Fastball.
That's fine. Anything.
Wait, how do you know? It's almost like he knew what I was pitching. I did. How? I told him.
Ooh. And
Now pitch curveballs.
Yeah, Cal Raleigh just got hit with a fastball up and in. Looks like
Did he?
Ooh, yeah.
Ooh, that's not good.
Right off.
And
the
he
hand.
will take one for the team.
Right off the forearm.
At least it hit him on the gear.
Yeah, it looked like it hit him on the forearm. So here's Mitch. They're gonna bring Hanny off the bench here.
Very interesting decision.
So they'll pull Canzone for Hanny
because they want. Well, I would have kept Canzone because of that glove that he has, but I guess they're trying to really get those runs in.
Yeah, it's
right. Mitch Haniger can tank one out to left field or right field in the small Yankee Stadium.
Nice. 2-run shot at this stage. That would be phenomenal.
I really miss the old Yankee Stadium as being like the kind of that pitcher's park. It wasn't exactly a hitter's park. You think it was kind of a hitter's park-ish? Like if it was left and right, yes.
100.
But not left center. Left center had that nasty 399.
Right, but I mean it was a pull hitter's paradise. Right here, like right field, the short right field porch. I think right field was only 298 down the right field line. Like, did
you know that if you think that's short, take a look at Polo Grounds.
Oh yeah,
the shortest left and right fields ever.
Actually, I'll give you one better. When the Dodgers originally moved to LA in 1958, they played 2 seasons at the LA Coliseum, and left field was like $150 down the left field line. It was hilarious. And they had a makeshift fence for right field going into center field.
Swing and a miss, strike 2.
You should look at those old pictures of the LA Coliseum for baseball. As a matter of fact, a couple of years ago, right before the season, the Dodgers played a spring training game at the Coliseum right before they opened up the season. And it was I guess it was like an ode to when the Dodgers moved to LA. I think it was an anniversary.
And a swing and a miss, strike 3, and down goes Haniger. Yeah, oh my God, it's short. Oh my God, look at that stay. Yeah. Oh, and did you know the Yankee Stadium before the renovations was also even shorter for left and right field? It was basically the less extreme version of Polo Grounds. That's why Babe Ruth hit all of those and Roger Maris, and looks like Aaron Boone is going to make that change.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Yeah, it was something that it's. Yeah. You know what was a very good hitter's ballpark, and it played extremely well to right-handed pull hitters, was the old Olympic Stadium in Montreal. Very good hitter's ballpark. Gary Sanchez and Vlad Sr. raked in Montreal.
Yep, Vlad Sr., yep.
Yep, Vlad Sr. Yeah, Larry Walker came up at the Expos as well too, and he
along with Randy Johnson. Yeah. Moises Alou was up there.
Moises Alou was there, yeah.
Ken Hill, Jeff Facero.
Can you imagine had the 94 strike not happened? I think the Expos were in first place when the strike hit.
They were just 4 games ahead of Atlanta.
Yeah, and had they, the Kingdom obviously was a hitter's paradise. But the had that strike not happened and the Expos would have won the East, there was a good chance that they could have gotten to a World Series, and if they had in 1994, the Expos would still be in Montreal.
1994 was stolen from us. There was a lot of things that were stolen. Matt Williams and Ken Griffey Jr. could have had that home run.
Yeah.
Mariners could have been the first division winner with a below 500 record. What else happened? Frank Thomas with an MVP season. I'm trying to think what else could have happened. Don Mattingly's last shot for a World Series, and that's when the 94 Yankees team was actually even better than the 95 Yankees team.
Oh, yeah. No, the Yankees were in first place.
Don Mattingly, that was like his legitimate shot for a winner. And we're looking at the pitch to Ty France. It's going to be, he hit a home run, the pitch, and that is a swing and a miss. And today's the day when the Mariners have been living and dying by the home run today. Today's been the complete opposite of yesterday. Yeah, and they had to hit the home run because Mariners weren't going to really get much, or they had to play small ball, but they still tanked on Schmidt anyway. The pitch. 1-1.
at the time of the strike, the Yankees had a 6.5 game lead over the Orioles and were in first place. The White Sox had a 1 game lead over the Indians at the strike, and the Indians were the team who obviously the next year came back and beat
the 1-1.
Yes. And
that is a strike, and that was outside, and the umpire missed that one.
And your Seattle Mariners were 2 games back of the Rangers at 49 and 63. The Expos were 6 games clear of the Braves at the strike. The Reds were in first place, a half game over the Astros, and the
1-2.
Dodgers were in
check
first
swing
place,
does not go.
3.5 games over the San Francisco Giants. Yeah, the Mariners easily could have squeaked in with a losing record, but still, they at the very
would have been a very interesting run of 94.
Yeah, I probably would think that it would have been a Yankees Expos World
2-2. Probably, yeah.
I think the Indians would have been the wild card in 94. Yeah, they would have been the wild card.
Mariners and Texas would have fought it out.
Yep. There's only one playoff team out of the West.
2-2. And here's a line drive, and that is going to be the throw to first, and everybody is safe. There was no double play. Ty France actually doesn't hit into a double play, and this is for you, Ty. It was a play where everything went wrong for the Yankees on the defensive end.
And of course, Garver swings at a slider down and away, so it's 0-1 to the big man from Minnesota. I don't think he's from Minnesota, but he played for him.
The pitch. Yep, he swung at that. You were right.
Mm-hmm.
And Mitch Garver, he did hit a double, and he did score last time around. Batting 180.
Championship. So Mitch right now is I think he's
0-1
tonight, a single
and
double.
That is going to be a strike, and we're looking at an 0-2 count for Mitch Garver.
Interesting.
We're looking at the 0-2 for Mitch, and here's the 0-2 pitch. And now here's a line drive or fly ball, nothing happening. No one's going to run on that.
Right.
And now we got 2 down, and this is where we would like to see. I think Dylan Moore is up. No, Josh Rojas. I was hoping it was Dylan Moore because Dylan Moore, I think, maybe could have had something else in him.
Well, Garver gets a fastball up. I thought he actually put a good swing on that pitch with a nice little line drive to right, but it was right at Soto.
And now here is Josh Rojas up to the plate. He is now 1 for 3 with a double in the third. He did score with that home run off of Dylan Moore.
Yeah, the Kingdom was great. Great offensively. Terrible for pitchers, and the Mariners can never seem to get
the pitch.
Ground ball.
And that is a strike.
You know what was funny is when the Mariners signed Chris Bosio. I remember when they brought in Boz.
He was like their marquee free agent signing, yeah.
And historically, he was a very good ground ball pitcher when he was with the Brewers. Very good pitcher. And
0-1.
When he got to
and that
Seattle,
is fouled. He's got bombed.
He gave up a lot of home runs in Seattle. Couldn't keep the ball on the ground. Very good sinker ball pitcher. He just couldn't get it was
and injuries ended his career.
Yeah. One start, Chris Bosio had everything working. One start. When he threw the no-hitter.
We're looking at 0-2, and he was a bad dentist. 0-2? Because aren't you glad that he decided to pitch for the Mariners instead rather than be a dentist?
Here's a random name from the 90s, a pitcher who pitched for the Milwaukee Brewers back when they were still in the American League. Do you remember Ricky Bonas?
Nope.
Good pitcher.
We're looking at a 2-2 count. Never heard of him.
What about Ben? How about Ben McDonald?
Nope.
Number 1 pick.
The 2-2 for Rojas. Can you make something happen? The 2-2 pitch. And now that's a line and foul. That looked actually pretty good, but it was still foul.
How
We would
about
like
Tim
to get
Belcher?
some insurance. Tim Belcher?
Yeah, how about Tim Belcher?
Get those mother bleeping cameras off me, you mother bleepers. What kind of bleeping BS is that? You bleep, bleep, bleep.
Yeah.
Everyone, all of you bleep insane.
Belcher was a bulldog, man. I loved him.
2-2.
Andy Bennis.
Andy Bennis.
Ooh, come
no,
on.
Tim. That whole Tim Belcher thing was quietly the reason why they rallied, because he got all pissed off and maybe got the. And then you see Lou Piniella walking through. He's like, "Wait, what just happened?"
No, I think they rallied because they thought they were the better team,
3-2.
and they were going back home.
Called, and Rojas didn't even swing at that.
Yeah, that was a pitch literally right down.
That was a meatball right there.
Essentially middle, just a little, just on the outside corner, but still very hittable. And Josh, you got to swing at that, but
you really had to swing at that.
No, the Mariners were, the Mariners had 3 in the Kingdom, and they nearly pulled out game 2. They thought they were the better team, and of course, you get back to the situation where, down 0-2, but all you need is 1, and they certainly got it in game 3. Ken Griffey Jr. had a monster series. So did Edgar. Both of those guys. Just
what's scary? His first home run was a playoff home run was a 95, and his final home run in the playoffs was also a 95. Off of David Cohn and Oral Hershiser. And after that, Griffey never saw much of the playoffs ever again. He went to playoff one more time in 97 where he did pretty much nothing. And then 2008 with the White Sox when he was pretty much done.
Yeah, it's a shame that Junior didn't get to see the playoffs a lot. Well, the interesting thing was that as soon as he left Seattle, he got the injury bug, man. And I remember it was
he stopped taking care of his body. That's that's my theory.
I remember
he got bigger and bigger each year.
I remember he shredded his patella tendon and basically missed the entire season. Then I think it was in 2004 he was comeback player of the year.
I think it was 2005 he was comeback player.
Okay, yeah, it was in that era. He got comeback player of the year. Had a phenomenal season. Stayed healthy. I think a lot of it had to do with playing a majority of his career on ASUS.
The turf.
Yeah, well, he played his career in Seattle, wear and tear, and then he, instead of playing on natural grass,
Synergy Field had the same problem too.
Yeah, Riverfront, yeah.
And then the new stadium in Cincinnati was like too little, too late.
But yeah, Junior was the type of guy, especially late in his career, especially in the Cincinnati era of his career, he would kind of balloon in the off season and then take the first couple months of the year to get in shape, instead of just maintaining, which was a far cry from his Seattle tenure, where he showed up to spring training fit and ready to go.
Yeah, because he had an insane metabolism, but then once he hit 30, the metabolism's gone.
Yeah. I still remember the home run derby at Camden Yards. He put on a show.
He did. And we're looking at a 1-1 for Stanek.
The plaque is still in the warehouse.
It did. I did. We did see that on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
The 1-1.
Yep.
And that is up high for a ball, and Stanek is just throwing nothing but gas.
3-1 to a guy like Trent Grisham, who literally will swing.
It's 3-1. I'm on 2-1.
Yeah, he'll swing at everything. So
the pitch,
there you go.
And that is now a 3-1 count. And this Mariners bullpen is just being wild.
Yeah, and Stanek is a guy where he's got to locate the fastball. His fastball sets up the split, sets up a slider, and he can't be a radical
3-1
fastball.
And that is a strike. And Grisham thought that was a ball.
Yeah,
talks to the umpire about it too.
Yeah, there you go. There you go, Stanny.
And sounds like that's a strikeout from there. And we'll have to make this official on my end. We're looking at the 3-2 for Ryan Stanek. And now here's the pitch. And that is popped up. And that is going to be played by Josh Rojas. And he makes the catch. And we've got one down.
Huge out. Get the first out of the inning. And that was a fastball, 100, like triple digits at the bottom of the zone. That was a very, very good place fastball right there to get him to cooks up the pop out.
It really was.
Here's Anthony Volpe.
Let's hope that Mariners can get out of this quick, unlike the last inning, because that was really upsetting. And now the pitch. And that is going to be up high for a ball. Anthony Volpe is now 0 for 3 with a strikeout in the 6th.
What I like about Stanek is he goes after guys. That's
now the 1-0. And now here's a fly ball line drive, and that is just foul.
He is not afraid to attack the strike zone, inducing swing and misses. That's what I do like about him. Although on the flip side of being that aggressive, sometimes he has a tendency to get hit. So it's a game of Russian roulette.
1 for 7 this series is Anthony Volpe.
Yeah.
Now here's the pitch, and that is a swing and a miss, strike 2. And I look at that in New York. I was looking at some people in New York, and I hate to say it, but some of those men out there, they don't look like the tough New York men that we saw like 20 years ago. Now they are kind of like they got little, really tight shorts. And
so you think the boogie down Bronx is soft now, huh?
Yes. Is that a bold statement?
I wouldn't say it, but because they're all full of just tough Puerto Ricans. The Bronx is the
1-2. And now here's a line drive, and that is going to be a base hit to center field. And now we got a man on first base. The tying run is now at the plate.
Yep, and now you got to deal with Juan Soto, which means
which Brian Wu was he literally just nailed him.
Which means you got to stay on the outer half. And it doesn't get easier either, because obviously if you're a little too fine with Juan Soto, you got Aaron Judge coming right up from behind.
You do.
So, look at Scott. He's in the bullpen, just kind of like, meh.
I mean, this is bullpen is giving me 97 feels. It's going back to that exactly. I don't even know how this bullpen even figured it out in April. Well, because nobody knew who these people were. That's the thing. But now they do, and now they're as predictable as anybody else.
Well, even back in April, the middle relief of this bullpen wasn't anything that special. But that's the thing. It's like I still
1-0, and that is a strike.
I still don't understand. Oh boy, I don't understand the decision to let Tyson Miller go. But
that made no sense because Tyson Miller was a big dude. He was actually doing pretty good. He just happened to get unlucky sometimes.
Yeah, I know he had two appearances.
Oh no, it's a wild pitch and that gets away, and we got a runner on second base. Now we have a runner in scoring position.
And he had 2 appearances in the Twin Series, gave up 2 runs, one each in those appearances. But if my recollection serves me correct, those runs weren't on Tyson Miller, and the decision to stay with Cody Bolton or even bring up Bizzardo made no sense at all.
The 2-1. And now here's a ground ball right to second baseman Dylan Moore. Throw to first in time, but that moves a runner to third base.
Yep, and now you have
Aaron Judge, the tank, who is up to the plate.
And really what you want to see, if you're going to go fastball, it's got to be low and away. Or how about a fly ball? Oh, there it is. Nice. Nice.
And you spoiled it again.
Yeah, but this is a good one. You'll like this one.
Okay, I like this one. Here's the pitch to Judge. And now here's a fly ball to deep left field, and Julio is there. And he makes the catch, and that's going to retire the side. We go to the top of the 9th inning. It is 5-3. and I need a breather considering how all this happened.
Walker and Judge. Come on now.
Actually, I gotta go to the bathroom, better yet. SeatGeek is a mobile ticketing app for sporting events, concerts, and other events. They make the buying experience easier by the app ranking each ticket from 0 to 10 to see if you are getting a good deal, and you can see exactly where you are sitting. I regularly use that app, and I have had nothing but a fantastic experience with SeatGeek. Use my promo code RooftopSports to get $20 off of your first purchase. Link to the code, app, and website will be in the description, so take advantage, and thank you.
Yep. Go ahead and take advantage. Go to SeatGeek.com and use the promo code RooftopSports to get $20 off. So William Cook in the chat room is saying walk Aaron Judge. I understand the notion there. You have first base open, but that being said, the last thing you want to do is put the tying run on first base. You pick your poison, and of course it worked out well for Stanek. He got the fly ball to end the inning. So I actually like the idea of attacking Aaron Judge, and if he beats you, he beats you. But that being said, once you were able to get Juan Soto to ground out to second base for the second out, you're pretty much in a position where you have to pitch to Aaron Judge, and it turned out
really
to work out well.
Yes.
Yeah. So. See, I like the fact that William Cook here is not married to the belief of walking Aaron Judge. He says, "I stand corrected." Good for you, William Cook.
Stand corrected. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Because there are some out there in the Mariners content community that does not stand corrected.
I will say though, but Aaron Judge got extended on that pitch as well too. He just got under it enough, so
they're taking a look at it. And he did just get under it, just like how much I got under it. Where if I had it right, maybe it could have gotten inside the Parker home runner.
Yeah, and it's by the way, man, when are we going to see that last softball clip of yours that you were saving
after this inning? After this half of the inning.
After these messages,
we're looking at a 2 for 3 for Dylan Moore. He's 1-0. Count the pitch.
That is true.
And now it is a 2-0 count.
That is true. That is true, William Cook. You do have the right to reserve saying it again. How many times this series are you going to say it again, by the way? Just off the top of your hand. 2, 3, 4?
What? Top of what? The pitch. Foul ball.
He says he has the right to reserve to say it again.
What is my average in softball? I don't know, but for my church league, I will count. I will start making numbers for myself. I will count it so I can make it as content. For my church,
by the way,
and I'm a pitcher.
If you're not batting 400 or better in slow pitch softball, intramural slow pitch softball, that's a problem. Oh!
Stop! I hate it when you do this. Don't do this in the playoffs if they make it. And now here is looking at a 3-1, and he's annoying me. The 3-1. And now here's a fly ball to deep right field, and that is gone! That's the second home run by Dylan Moore, and the Mariners have extended their lead 6-3. What a shot by Dylan Moore. Unbelievable. And Steve, I had a feeling that was a home run just by your reactions, and now it's 6-3. And for now, we can breathe just a little bit easier off that Dylan Moore home run. Dylan Moore doing it again and again and again.
Oh, dude, it was a 3-1 fastball. It walked Dylan Moore. A 3-1 fastball, and he takes it oppo for his second of the game.
And that looks like that's going to be enough for the pitcher, and they're going to go to the bullpen.
after these messages. Yeah, I just, listen, where would we be without Dylan Moore in our lineup right now?
Nowhere. We would be exactly where we were in 2023 without Dylan Moore, and that time was hell. When that offense was just completely just not there. Teoscar was a joke. Julio was meh. Everyone was struggling.
Yeah, and this is exactly what you wanted. The first two, well, they still got to get this one in the bottom of the ninth, but it's looking, as of right now, it's looking like the Mariners may hold up 3 going into the bottom of the ninth, and this is exactly what you wanted, taking the first two of this 4-game series, and now all they have to do is split to win. And it looks like tomorrow with Dylan Moore, not Dylan Moore, but Bryce Miller going tomorrow.
There's a chance.
They're looking pretty good now. And what's interesting is we were saying this in the Baltimore series. When you were looking straight at the starting matchups, the Mariners actually had
the advantage.
The advantage in all four games. Credit to Brian Wu, who literally just sat this Yankee lineup down for 6 innings, 6 strong innings. You knew that the Yankees weren't going to, stay idle at 0.
1-2.
And
that is strike 3 called, and down goes J.P. Crawford. Yeah. And now we got one down, and we got Julio Rodriguez up to the plate.
You knew they weren't, but it's nice to see that the Mariners are playing add-on. And it, of course, it's the home run ball. You take it where you can find it, but very impressed with Dylan Moore tonight. Good Lord, man.
2 home runs, and he has way more home runs than Julio. The pitch.
That dude is just
now here's a ground ball right to the second baseman. He's got it to throw to first, and it's in time. And Julio just doesn't run those through. He just doesn't. He just stops.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and Julio is like, I don't want to use the word liability because I don't necessarily think that's accurate. But right now,
he is being a liability.
My problem, my biggest problem with Julio is that he's just not patient. His timing on the fastball is just not there. And by the way, Austin Voth is up.
Oh God! Because they feel comfortable with a 3-run lead.
They got a 3-run lead, and of course Voth.
And they just faced Aaron Judge too.
Yeah, the last time we saw Austin Voth, he had a 9-pitch inning in Baltimore. I believe it was in the 7th inning. But the thing about it is he's like Julio is right now. All he is doing is looking for off speed, and because of it, his timing on the fastball is just not there. And
that is fouled, and that's gonna be a 1-2 count.
Yeah, and that's not doing him any favors.
But the Mariners do us a favor 54% of the time, though.
Yeah. By the way, that was the one thing that. Oh, and it looks like Andres Munoz is up as well too. But it also,
and that is strike 3 called, and we are going to the bottom of the 9th inning. It is the last final inning, hopefully, and we'll be back after this. Now here's the situation. Now here's the situation. The game was tied, and I was up. This was my opportunity to score in the game-winning run. I had a girl at second base, so this was like no. Absolutely no pressure.
Moments.
This was my moment. Yeah. Because I'm usually not a clutch player, but here it is.
Woo! Run it!
God, she's got.
You had one job, and we tied after that because of that.
Wow. So you get the base hit. That was a good swing, by the way. So you get the base hit. And then, of course, old girl on second base is, running like, she's not running like she's being chased by the cops. And she lackadaisically turns third and then starts heading to home. And of course, big ass girl easily applies the tag. I'm glad that you guys came back to came back to tie it there. But I mean, come on, lady. You're in a position to score a run. That means you actually have to be paying attention, one, but also when you're running, you have to run with a purpose there.
And that was my moment. My only game winner I've ever done in my entire softball intramural slow pitch career beer league. It was
all I know is that you did your job. You checked in with a good base hit right there.
Yeah. What's my most heartbreaking moment was it was a championship game. I was the best pitcher in the league. I was trusted to be the championship pitcher. I gave up 15 runs.
Ooh.
And we somehow still lost by 2. That was my most heartbreaking game. And I was pulled.
So when I was 19 years old, we were playing in a tournament. And no, I'm sorry, I was 17 years old. And we were playing in a tournament. We were in the semifinals. And in my first at bat, I get plunked in the helmet. I got hit in the head with a fastball that ran up. And I turned my face, obviously. I'm a righty, so I turned my head and it hit me right here. And it literally rang my bell. So I stay in the game. And I'm having a little equilibrium issues while I'm playing. I was a third baseman in this game, and so it took me a couple innings to kind of shake off the cobwebs. But I want to say it was the bottom of the 7th, I checked in with a double that scored 2 to tie it, and then later in the game, we were down by 1, and I checked in with a single that tied it, and we ended up winning in extras. That was a good. That was an all-timer for me.
We're looking at an 0-2 for Alex Verdugo.
Here's Andreas Ayala.
The pitch, and he did show his Ayala on that with a 100-mile-an-hour fastball, but it's going to be 1-2.
Nice. Dylan Moore is such a sexy. Oh God,
he is a handsome man. 1-2. Now here's a line caught by Dylan Moore, and that's why you said he's a handsome man.
No, I don't mean looks wise. I'm talking about player wise. He's such a sexy player. He's a stud.
He really is. Dylan Moore came a long way because I remember when I first saw him, and that wasn't a line drive. That was just a play to first base. What was I even thinking?
Yeah, he's a stud. Here's the thing is I remember in 2021, Dylan Moore, surprisingly carved out a good niche for himself. Being that
2020, Dylan Moore was also a borderline all-star player.
Yeah, he had carved himself out a nice niche of being that 5th infielder, and he was the guy that you literally could trust in that left-handed versus left-handed situations. The one thing that
and now here's a ground ball right to Dylan Moore again, the throw to first, and it's in time.
The one thing that he has developed is his ability to hit righties as well too, and I'll say this though. That I think that Dylan Moore is an everyday player. I think he's developed into an everyday player.
I still would put him. I'm still on the edge of having him as off the bench guy, even though he did step up very well. I still think he has that. He still has that off the bench utility thing in him.
Here's the thing. It's you these things when you're given the opportunity. And over the course of the last 2 weeks, where would this offense be if it wasn't for
Dylan Moore? It would be 2023 status right now.
Yep.
And a lot of fans I'd probably have my numbers of viewers right now would be 14 rather than 24.
I think Dylan has played his way into a position where he can.
Now here's a ground ball, and that gets through from Ty France, and that's going to be a base hit.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that this is a time for doom, but you still want to be careful.
No, and Dylan, at least Ty actually made a play on it, tried to make a play on it instead of just letting it get by.
The ball just happened to be at the wrong place at the worst possible time.
And now, now for Munoz with 2 outs, you have to you have to tune out the runner on first base. It doesn't matter. You don't worry about the runner on first. You worry about the guy at the plate right now. And that means that
the pitch, and that is going to be low for a ball.
You can't put balls in the dirt. You literally have to attack the strike zone here.
You really do.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, we should have Dylan as a regular player. I agree. As a matter of fact, I would actually drop him in left field. And I would use Dylan Moore in left field for the time being. And, you know, if you want to use, well,
this is after Polanco's back.
Yeah, exactly. I would plunk him in left field. If you want to use Dom Canzone to spell Dylan Moore and Mitch Haniger, you can. But that being said, you also have to figure out a way to squeeze in Luke Raley too. So
the 1-0, and that's going to be a 2-0 count.
And that means, you're going to see Luke Raley in left field as well too, and you're also going to see him at first base. And I would be okay. And I would be okay if they split first base 50-50.
I mean, yeah, with Ty France, and he's been questionable at best this season.
Yeah, I know he's Ty's had a pretty decent week. He's had a pretty decent week, and you hope this is the start of a good stretch for Ty.
And a swing and a miss, strike two, and as Dave Niehaus says, it's game time. When he said strike two, he would always say it's great game time.
Yeah, it's game time.
So the Mariners, they jumped out to a 4-0 lead, but then Torres hit that 3-run home run to bring it close. But then you got Luke Raley. Here's a 2-2, and that is a ball 3-2. Now this is where things can get dangerous, because if you walk Gleyber Torres, you have the tying run, which is going to be Orlando Cabrera or something Cabrera. And now we're looking at
Oswaldo.
And that is going to be ball 4, take your base. And now we have the tying run at the plate.
With the likes of Trent Grisham, who, by the way, I believe is 0 for 3 tonight. And, this is...
No, it's Cabrera. Cabrera's up.
Oswaldo Cabrera. So, yeah, and that was a good pitch right there to start the at bat off. You got a little slider down on the feet.
Swing and a miss, and that's gonna be strike one. 2 strikes to go for Oswaldo Cabrera. Mariners have got to get out of this to at least guarantee the split against the Yankees. And there are some fans out there that would actually take the split. But if the Mariners win like this, I want a 3 of 4 at least. And now here's the pitch. And foul ball. And it's going to be strike 2.
What you want is a sweep.
What you want is a sweep, absolutely.
Yeah. Just to erase the Baltimore series, if they can walk out of the Bronx with a sweep,
that will more than make up for it.
You're 5-2. On this trip. But that being said, though, 3 or 4, you're still happy.
And it's still fouled. And Munoz is still throwing that gas of 100-mile-an-hour fastball.
Got him.
And we're looking at an 0-2. It probably sounds like a strikeout by what you said, but there are some fans out there that really want to know the result in this way. Here it is. Going to be the 0-2 pitch on the way, and a swing and a miss, strike 3, and the ball game is over. The Mariners escape with a 6-3 victory. Wasn't as escaping as yesterday, but in some ways they
hold on.
They somewhat escaped. We had 6 strong innings of Brian Wu, should have been 7. Dylan Moore hit 2 home runs. We saw a Ty France home run, and we saw a Luke Raley home run. So very, very good win for the Mariners. You at least guarantee the sweep. And look at them. They're just having their little handshake thing. And now just 2 games to go. Hopefully we can finish it off with the sweep. And now we can talk about the game real quickly. And let's take a look at the scoring summary of this game. So first it was a Dylan Moore with a 2-run home run. Made it 2-0. Ty France hit a home run himself to make it 3-0. Dylan Moore with an RBI single in the 7th. And then in the bottom of the 7th, unfortunately, and this was with Scott Service pulling pulling Brian Wu after just 77 pitches, who had 7 strikeouts. He had a 3-run home run to make it 4-3, but nonetheless, Luke Raley and Dylan Moore responded with home runs to make it 5-3 and 6-3. Bullpen was used quite a bit today. That's the criticism that I have of this game is Scott Service not giving Brian Wu one more inning, because I think that one inning could have saved at least 2 of those pitchers guaranteed. Who knows? And Andres Munoz gets his 9th save. Other flashes was Dominic Canzone with 2 amazing catches in right field. And Steve, any other takes from this game that you saw yourself?
Oh, yeah. I mean, listen, on the one hand, the Mariner offense did check in with 11 strikeouts, but on the other hand, what I liked was that once the Mariners tack on 2 to take a 4-0 lead, and as soon as Service makes the change to the bullpen, the Yankees roar back with a 3-run shot. And instead of being in a situation where all of a sudden maybe you get the nerves and you start maybe having doubt creep in, the Mariners start tacking on insurance runs, and then all of a sudden Raley hits a home run, Demo hits his second, and that's what you want to see, the ability to respond in games and not put themselves in a position where they fiercely have to try to cling to a one-run lead. They give themselves enough cushion. They come up absolutely clutch, and all of a sudden the Mariners win 6-3. This was actually a very big win. Last night, obviously, they come from behind, but tonight this was kind of a no-doubter as the Mariners took control early. Demo with his first home run taking an early lead, and it really just gave Brian Wu gave him the breathing room to continue to attack that Yankee lineup. All credit to Brian Wu. Basically tonight, a quality start, 6 innings. Yes, he should have gone 7. I think you and I both agree on that. But that being said, they didn't press when the Yankees started to tack away to get back into this ball game. They just they basically knuckled up and started playing tack on, which is actually super encouraging considering that the Yankee bullpen is a very good bullpen. And so now for the second straight night, the Mariners have done very big damage against the Yankee bullpen. So all credit to the guys tonight. They played well. They played incredibly well. Big shout out for Dylan Moore, 3 for 4 tonight, 2 home runs. I think he also had an RBI single.
He did
as well, and having a 4 RBI night tonight. Ty France, obviously, he tonight was 2 for 4 with a home run. Luke Raley was 1 for 5. Even JP Crawford had a nice base hit tonight, which is what you want to see. Mitch Garver quietly went 2 for 4 tonight with a run scored and a double. So you like to see not 1, not 2, not 3, but multiple guys in the lineup having a good night. On the flip side, Julio Rodriguez 0 for 4, an ugly 0 for 4. I think he had a walk, but for the most part, we're waiting for Julio to turn into the Julio Rodriguez that we all know and love. So hopefully that happens sooner rather than later. But outside of the 11 strikeouts and Julio Rodriguez, I gotta say this was a phenomenal win.
This was a fantastic win, and one thing I would really like to see going forward is I would really like to see Brian Wu, if he's pitching exactly like that, I would like to see him go into the 7th inning, because 1, that will save the bullpen, and 2, let's take a look and see what he can do going to the 7th inning, because it's better to know now than later on when it gets to the crunch time of September if the Mariners are in that position. But the way they're playing right now, they should have a good shot to at least have a meaningful September. I'm not going to say playoffs. I'm going to say at least a meaningful September, which Mariners are absolutely going to need to have at least to make the playoffs. And we're going to need to see if Brian Wu can actually have his longevity, because right now he still has the injury concerns once in a while. And it would be really nice to see if Brian Wu can go a little bit longer so we can see if he could be the starter of our future.
Well, it's not just Brian Wu. It's basically every starter in the rotation. I mean, Scott Service has a tendency to pull them early before they even hit the 100 pitch mark. And it's, the thing that drives me absolutely batshit crazy is the fact that at the beginning of the year, he basically said both Bryce Miller and Brian Wu aren't going to have any restrictions whatsoever. And that means, and especially when you're on the road and you've already used your bullpen quite a bit in the Baltimore series, and coming into New York, last night they had to use the bullpen again, and so you're looking for areas in which you can give the majority of your bullpen a night off. And tonight was the perfect example where it's like, listen, I understand, but I understand that you're being a little cautious, but at the same time, he's only got 77 pitches and he's been absolutely nails through 6. And you're absolutely right. It's like, listen, you're not playing to lose. You're not like, this isn't Pete Carroll in the prevent defense where it's bend but don't break. It's like, listen, you have to be playing to win. And like I said earlier in the broadcast, the last thing you want to do is be overly cautious because you're worried about injury. Like that's not baseball. That's not how you don't play baseball scared. You play baseball to win. And if you have a guy like Brian Wu who was absolutely dominant tonight, you bring him out for the 7th inning. And it's always the same situation where you could have Gabe Spire warming up in the bullpen just in case. And if Brian Wu gives up a leadoff single, if you want to make the change there, fair enough. But that being said, you bring him out to start the 7th inning. If he gets the first out of the inning, chances are he cruises through the 7th, and he's not even approaching 100 pitches. He's like anywhere between 90 and 93, which is fine. And by the way, bringing him out there in the 7th is not going to, you're not running any risk for injury by doing that. And and now all of a sudden, yes, the Mariners win, but now you've used Stanek, Spire, and Thornton and Munoz on back-to-back nights now. And so the unfortunate thing is if the Mariners are in a situation tomorrow where they're within 3 runs late in the ball game, you don't have Munoz because you've used him 2 nights in a row. So you're either running Stanek on back-to-back games, or Spire on back-to-back games, or Thornton on back-to-back games. But now you're using Cody Bolton and Eduardo Bazardo, and you're using guys that for a fact that you cannot count on in high leverage situations because you've now put yourself in a situation where you had to burn your 4 best pitchers back-to-back nights. So it made absolutely no sense to me to lift Brian Wu when you absolutely didn't. And so if there's any knock, it's Scott Service continues to play a brand of baseball where again you have to question his priorities.
Absolutely, and it's very you make a good point about the bullpen being completely down, and that could play a role into tomorrow, which is why Bryce Miller, we're going to need some big innings out of Bryce Miller, and then after that game, we're absolutely going to need big innings after taking a look at the next pitcher after that. We're going to need some big innings out of Luis Castillo, so that's going to put pressure on them since they've already burned up the bullpen. And not to mention, Mariners don't have a legitimate day off until June 3rd. They will be playing consecutively for at least another whole week. So this is something where Scott Service has to be very careful with managing his bullpen because you don't want to be in the position where nobody's going to be available.
And you mentioned early in the broadcast, the Mariners don't have a day off until June the 3rd or
June 3rd.
Yeah, June 3rd. And so you're still another week away until you have that breather. And you have to be able to manage your bullpen in a way where you're not going to have them in a position where they're taxed, where you actually have your high leverage. You have your high leverage arms, your most trusted arms available. Like tonight, they had Austin both up, warming up along with Andres Munoz. And it's like, in that situation up by 3, I actually would have been okay if both took the hill tonight. The last time we saw both was in Baltimore, where they, were Service, instead of running him out in the 8th, he has a 9-pitch 7th inning. And instead of rolling him out in the 8th, he brings in Cody Bolton, who gives up the dagger run. And that was a situation where you could have rolled out both for 2 innings. which is why he was brought in here, not just to pitch one, but he can pitch multiple innings. And so he was rested for tonight. In that situation of 3, I probably would have rolled with both, because you probably know that the rest of the series you're going to need Andres Munoz. But now that you've burned him on back-to-back games, you can't bring him out. You can't bring him out tomorrow. So the Mariners are in a situation where they're playing for 6 runs again tomorrow, and they're just hoping that Bryce Miller can give them 7. And keep the Yankees within like 2 or less runs. Like you're banking on a lot tomorrow. So it just, I say this multiple times, and I'm not saying it just to heap shit on Scott Service. It's just, you're the way that the way that you deploy a bullpen determines wins and losses. Because if you know that your bullpen is going to be an integral part of every single game, then you have to deploy them in a smart manner, in which you know for a fact that, considering you don't have Brash and you don't have Santos, and you only have 3 or 4 guys in your bullpen that you can depend on, those guys have to be available on a day-to-day basis, which means you're going, like, if you have a lead to which you have tonight, then you probably use Austin Both, not Andres Munoz.
Yeah, of course. And we're going to have to find out and see what happens in the last 2 games. But that is going to do it for our show. It was a really fun show to do. A lot of offensive firepower that we saw. And Chris, one of my members, hello. You're late, but better late than never. But that is going to do it for the show. And I thank you, everyone, for being a part of this. Thank you very much. Have a good night. Go Mariners.